This is Papa Smurf. You're listening to Our Lifestyle, the podcast, with ODB and the mayor.
Yo, this is Rob Maggi, and you're listening to Our Lifestyle podcast.
Yo, as we get started, we want to thank our title sponsor, Scrapin' the Coast. You can visit scrapinthecoast.com for more information. Their next event, 22nd annual, is going to be the last weekend in June. They haven't yet announced it for 2024, but rest assured we will be out there. One of the biggest, baddest shows in the country. Get ready for more information coming soon on Scrapin' the Coast. Tap on the hashtag #ScrapinTheCoast for more information. We appreciate the continued support of Custom Car Show Productions. Yo, it's Our Lifestyle Podcast, a.k.a. OLP, episode 343. We're here live at Sema. We were boots on the ground today. We're back at the Airbnb, a.k.a. Ron Jeremy's house. And we got a cast of characters here, including... I think it's Riggedy Ron Perkins. Or
Riggedy Ron Perkins in the house alongside Hank and
the whole crew.
This is Jeff from Idaho.
Krager from Idaho.
Yo, this is Jeff from Mini Garage.
Yo, it's Joey with Hard Taco.
J-Dub.
Chuck from South Florida.
Old school local minis now petitioning NC.
La-da-da-da-dee. It's the mother trucking Billy B.O.B.
Dude, I like it.
And Mrs. B.
Oh yeah. We got a lot to talk
Bob.
about. Now before
Bob, sorry, go ahead.
No. So this is the cool thing with it being SEMA 2023. We know that shout out to Freaks of Nature. They always throw their annual kickoff. I think it's like an official, unofficial type thing. If you talk to Shannon, I would say, dude, it is official. And they have the Mini Truck Hall of Fame at Hogs and Heifers. I wanted to get a quick word from Billy. We did a video that we're going to upload this week. We kind of some behind the scenes stuff. It's going to take about a week to get that up. But Billy, knowing that you're going to be inducted in the next few hours, it's got to be a good feeling. You know, I know you're a humble dude, but you put in a lot of work over the past 25, 30 years, not to date us. So I know that, it's going to be a special night for you.
It is going to be a special night. It's hard to describe the feeling that I've felt since I've known. Nervous, anxious, honored, very honored. And, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It is going to be a great night. Being up there with some good friends, Lance, Charles, Fester, and some of the greats. Jay Werner, who I remember being a kid and reading about airbrushing in magazines. Like, to be up on stage with him and be inducted at the same time is just, to me, a huge honor. So,
yeah, for sure. And then your wife here, right? And we always talk about the key thing, having the ride or die next to you, someone that lets you work hard out there in the garage, but she's also been getting her hands dirty. Why don't you introduce her and you make sure that everybody knows she's with you, man.
Yeah, my wife, Michelle, she puts up with that addiction of mine out in the garage for hours on end. The last month, in fact, I've been getting up at 3, going to bed at about 9 or 10. Just like 5 hours of sleep a night. I work 4 days a week, and then on the weekends, on my days off, 3 days in a row, I put in 14, 16-hour days just to try to make sure that her project, the van that I built for her, got here and got done enough to bring it and show. And
yeah, that's a good dude because a lot of guys, would want to have their truck here if they could. I mean, logistically, that's not easy for everyone. But for you guys thrashed hard. You bring out this Astro van. I know it's kind of been in the works for a while, but, we all get motivated by different things. And now with Michelle having this kind of as her ride, Michelle, you got to be excited about it, right? Extremely. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, that's great. Now, what I wanted you to do too, I know these other guys introduced themselves, but give us a quick high level of who you got here because you had a couple of the homies and the kinfolk from Idaho roll through out here. I would assume, right, these guys have been out here before, but they want to come and support you. So just give a quick shout for these guys.
Yeah, Jeff Reed. He said he was Jeff from Idaho, but his last name is actually Reed. and Krager is Jason Craig, but most people know him as Krager.
He's been around a long time. Talking with him, he's been around. It's not his first rodeo.
No, it's definitely not. Yeah,
Yeah,
once or twice or 12, but
awesome.
I work with both these guys every day. They're great friends, yeah, and they have helped me a lot on both the van and past vehicles. The Datsun, Jeff helped me a ton on. So, yeah, and without them, really, the van wouldn't be here. So.
Yeah, and I saw you guys out there, wiping it down, kind of dialing in some things. The cool thing is we know it's not finished, but, that big push, that thrash, as Chris Jacobs would say on overhauling, that's a key thing because, you want to get to a certain point, and then now you can start dialing in other aspects of it. There's a lot of mods on it. One of my favorite things is it's got the lift-up deal in the back like my Suburban had, but instead of the tailgate, it had kind of the barn doors, and that was a little different because on those, it's kind of split at the bottom.
Yeah, it's actually called Dutch doors on the Astrovan, or referred to Dutch doors and not barn doors.
And you suicided the hinges almost to the amount of work because they're hidden at least.
Yeah, I deleted the hinges off the back because they just stick way out, and it kind of drove me nuts. So that was
OCD
there was a lot of like things on it that I had to have done to it, which was get rid of the hinges. I worked really hard to keep the third back seat in it. Yeah. So
now I want to pass over to Joey Whitby. With Joey, you obviously come out. You're 3.5, 4 hours away. You and Tom have been on this awesome run with these awesome trucks. You put a lot of time into it. This is the 4th time this year that I've seen you boots on the ground, from the Spark Show to LST to here. So it's been kind of crazy deal. But what's the kind of feeling that you have with this event here in the next couple hours, bringing out the iconic truck painted by rest in peace, Eric Coleman, Hard Taco, a.k.a., which we all know it by, is Relaxed Taco.
Yeah. Well, when I found out that Jay Werner was coming, and actually when Matt Hutchison was doing all the touch-ups and repairs, Jay Werner reached out and said, hey, I remember doing all the airbrushing on that truck. So when I found out that he was inducted as well, I'm like, I want to take the truck there specifically so he can see a truck that he helped paint 20-something years ago.
Yeah, two birds with one stone, support
Right.
the scene, but also kind of supporting his, induction.
Correct.
Okay, cool.
And it, like knowing that the truck is still, holding its beauty to this day, and Jay Werner, Eric Coleman, rest in peace, and now Matt Hutchison's had his hands in it, and the truck's still looking spectacular.
Legendary. We obviously saw the new wheels that you had put on it. They look fantastic. We know that you're going to be out at one of our favorite shows, Lone Star Throwdown 2024, Conroe, that last weekend in February. How excited are you to see more Badass Minis? But I know you're going to be bringing the heat too.
I just love seeing mini trucks all over the place, and especially when the new builds come out. A lot of people are building them to get to the LST and mini Nats and all them other shows. So to be in the same field as some badass trucks is like a true honor.
Yeah, awesome. Now I want to turn it over to Jeff. Jeff, you've been out here before, and I don't know if you had a chance to walk yet. Today, Chuck Dogg and I were kind of boots on the ground, but it's got to be a crazy feeling knowing that the whole automotive world basically descends upon not Hill Valley, right, but SEMA with Las Vegas, and the convention center continues to grow. How excited are you to be here again with the big homie Ron Perkins?
I am super excited to be here. I think that 20 years ago, I would have never thought to get out and do this kind of stuff. And I stayed up in my corner of the world up there in the Pacific Northwest. And Ron convinced me to kind of branch out and see more of it and meet guys like you and all kind Joey getting out around the country and doing stuff out of my comfort zone. And I've had a blast doing it, and this is my second time coming to SEMA. And not just SEMA, but to be able to be here tonight to watch Billy Bob get inducted in the Hall of Fame. That's the real reason I'm here. I mean, yeah, SEMA's cool, and I want to be here and experience it, but I wanted to support somebody that has meant so much to me. We're close to the same age, and I watched the stuff he built from the time I was a kid up till now, and seeing his skills improve every year, and seeing him getting recognized for those, it's just amazing, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
True OG of the Pacific Northwest. Good stuff, man. Now I want to get a word from Kreger. I hadn't got a chance to really know you much, and getting a chance to kind of just hang out the last couple of days. You obviously been around a while. You had a burb and things like that. I know you work with Billy on a day-to-day basis, but like, what's it like to come down here and support someone that really is, I mean, let's be honest, like a beacon to the community, but he's also had his hands in countless other builds. We don't have the time to even go into how many other hot rods this guy has touched, but it's got to be a good feeling to support your friend.
Yeah, totally. I don't know. It's hard to say. There's a lot of different feelings.
A
lot of respect, and I feel fortunate to get to work with him and learn from him and share the things that I'm good with and help him out. I'm fortunate to work with a lot of really good guys, very talented, and it's a lot of fun. I've been doing this for a long time.
Yep. And what do you, speaking of that, what do you have now? Are you working on anything now or doing the family stuff right now?
I have a 67 GMC with a turbo LS in it. It's just kind of my screw around truck, and I'm getting ready to build a T-bucket for my father-in-law. And then we're building a 70 GMC for my buddy Lucky in my garage right now.
Awesome. Yeah, good stuff.
So
now we got the other Jizef over here. Now, I don't know a lot about you. How are you? We got Jizef from Mini Garage, and then we got Jeff Reed over here. But have you been kind of tied into these guys for a while? How long have you known Billy Bob?
Let's see. Known Billy Bob for about 10 years now. Probably maybe a little longer.
And you'd vouch for this guy, right?
Yeah, it depends on the day.
Right. It depends.
But, yeah, we've been working together for 5-6 years, something like that, since the first time. He came and went a couple times, but
yeah,
we drag him back
he knows
somehow.
Where home's at.
Yeah.
Here's an off the cuff question for you. What's one thing that people may not know about Idaho that you think people on this podcast should know?
I hate to say it, but it's not, mainly it's not all potatoes and rednecks.
Yeah, because Biggie said, I peel more skins than Idaho potato, and that's how we were like, oh, that's all they make there, the potatoes. Yeah. The French fries are great, by the way, because we use Idaho potatoes for our fries.
Yeah.
But we get that. I live in Land O'Lakes. I grew up in Land O'Lakes, rather, and we did not make the butter there. That was actually in Wisconsin, or Minnesota, somewhere.
Yeah, actually one of our other biggest exports now is hops for Anheuser-Busch
nice.
and whatnot. So, there's more to Idaho than potatoes, but, we don't like to tell people that.
Idaho's the weird state shaped, right? I'm bad with geography. It's kind of the crazy, does it have the...
Yep.
Florida's got the panhandle.
Yep.
And you guys got the other deal. I forget what it is.
We say it looks like a pistol. Some people say it looks like a teenager getting sniffed by Joe Biden.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. That's funny.
That's
good.
There's options.
So, Riggedy Ron, I want to throw it over to you real quick, man. Listen, dude, we've come to a few SEMAs together. I was blown away because as much as we've talked over the years, became friends. These different builds you've had over the years, some on TV. I was still blown away that I hit like an 05 mini truck in the other day, and I had forgotten that you had a Mazda with S10 taillights and a Nissan front end, I think, man. You've had more builds, and I love it, dude. You always got your hand in something, and I heard that you're cooking a taco that's coming after hard taco.
It's going to be harder than the hard taco.
It's going to be
harder than steel.
Yeah, but you've been dabbling a little bit, kind of getting things going where you're at and doing the damn thing, so I'm glad to see that, man. Your roots are deep in the mini truck scene.
Yeah, no, it's good to be back out here in Vegas, and I've been relaxing with life lately and just kind of hanging out and taking a little break. But
good.
I was kind of like at the very first didn't think I was going to come to SEMA, and then when Chris, asked me to be part of his introduction speech, it was real an honor because me and Chris, we've known each other for a long time, and he's helped me out on quite a few projects. And actually, Jason Kreger and Jeff Reed were actually a pretty big part, along with Chris, in my Deblazed and doing a lot of the body work to that because it was a time constricted project where we had to get it to Sema, and both Krager and Jeff, along with Billy Bob, helped out a lot on that project. So it's kind of cool to have everybody still as friends and together all these years later.
That's a good point.
And come back. They're talking about helping Chris with the van, pretty much the same way that they helped me with the Blazer. So it's just really cool to be, a part of it and back here in Vegas.
I think Billy Bob and I were kind of going down the bunny trail of talking about that scenario is if you really look back in time, how many builds are like the friends and families and the homies kind of chip it in because it could be very expensive. Not everybody has the time to be able to do that kind of stuff. So it's pretty cool. I'm going to come back to you in a second, but I wanted to get a word from Chuck-Dogg. Chuck-Dogg is dipping in the van. You recently got it bagged. And you've been trying to really hit as many shows as you can, Chuck. I know it's got to be a good feeling. You got the Kindig handles. You've been dabbling in the interior. What's next for the Astra, man? Just going to keep gas brake dipping?
Got to keep working on getting it fully bagged and hopefully on the ground.
Oh, yeah. A little bit of motivation sitting out front.
A little bit of motivation sitting out.
Michelle's not Billy Bob's man.
Michelle's busting my dick.
I think the dog's also a little part owner. Yeah, which is good.
So,
I mean, you're getting busted out by a lady. You know what I'm saying?
Fuck.
That's good. That's good. But hey, you're petitioning for NC, and,
yes, sir.
I know you've been down 25 plus years in the scene, so keep doing what you do.
Thanks, man.
Now, Ron, I got one more question for you, dude. Since Miggity Mike the Mayor, he's out gallivanting, isn't he?
I don't know. He's
going to football games, bro. He should be out here talking about what's that show they do in January 12th to the 14th in Florida. Something
get down
about
something westbound. Westbound get down.
Yeah.
No. Eastbound get down.
Eastbound chill down. No,
Showdown.
get down. Okay, chill down. Okay. So I want to remind everyone the 12th through the 14th January 2024, you can go to eastboundgetdownshow.com. Make sure you check it out, pre-register. He told me how many pre-registrations, and I was blown away. I was like, hey, man, are things going okay? And he goes, man, last I checked, it was this. And I was like, damn, dude, you got to be like one of the biggest, baddest up-and-coming shows in the state of Florida. Now, I got a question. Do we want to do for the trivia before we wrap this up? Because I know we got to peel out of here in a few minutes. The trivia, usually with Miggity Mike the Mayor, but he's out gallivanting. That's brought to you by the Spark Show. Should we do a group?
I think we do a group one,
or we do it on a single.
Just a group, see who can get the closest to it.
Okay, because there's a two-parter, man. And here's the rule: if you get it right, you get the tick mark in your binder. If you get it wrong, Mike loses the points. You know what I mean? Because he can't get the points. It's a win-win for all of us here. Now, I want to give a huge shout out to Billy Bob and Michelle. They linked us up. They reached out, and I can't thank you enough. Became friends with you over the years, and got a lot of respect for you. By you going, hey man, we got a place, we got a couple extra beds. Ron Jeremy used to live here. Oh, you sign me up. No, just kidding. This place has been super cool. And again, I'm not sure 100% I wanted to come, but that made it easier because I hate booking all the logistics and stuff. So I'm happy for you. I'm happy for all these different folks, that are getting patched in. So thank you guys. You're welcome. So I got one question. Are you ready?
Now it's time to get serious.
Okay, big money.
This is a group
yeah,
thing.
this is going to be a group thing.
Everybody answering who gets closest.
Yep, whoever gets closest. And this is big money, no whammies, right? Because we don't want any whammies. No. If this was the Christmas Vacation, we were ready to plug the lights on, we'd get a drum roll. So we got the drum roll going. We definitely got the sound effects because we didn't bring the soundboard. I mean, we can't travel with all this stuff. We're flying Spirit, man. It's 50 cents for a damn drink. We can't afford that shit. Right. The question is, when was the first Halloween? So we're talking about the movie, franchise.
What year in specifically?
What year was the Halloween, the first movie in that franchise? What year did it come out?
No phones. Don't cheat.
No phones. Okay. So we're gonna do. Everyone find. We're gonna blurt it out.
I'm gonna go 1983.
Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're not gonna tell anybody.
83.
Yeah,
okay.
We're not gonna tell anybody if they got it right or wrong.
Okay.
And
Keep
you
going.
can side with that person if you want.
$1. Okay. 1985.
85. Okay.
83, 85.
1980.
Okay.
80.
I don't like horror movies, so
me neither.
Oh, you could just take a random guess, though.
My guess?
The very first Halloween movie.
79.
Okay.
79.
Okay.
86. Can I guess?
Yep.
No, I know the answer.
Yeah. Yeah, we know Hank.
All right. What's Jeff Reed got?
I'll go 84.
Okay. And we got Kreger.
82.
I want to pick again. I just think about this.
Okay. Okay. Can we? Yeah. We're going to go over to the official rule. You got the rule book over
I'll
here,
let
right?
this one slide.
Wait, he's lost the key for the rule book.
Judge's ruling?
Yeah.
We're going to let it slide.
I like 1979.
Oh, you want some team?
Okay. Okay. So we got.
I know who
pretty
got
close.
closest.
So why don't you go ahead and let everyone know?
Okay, so Jeff and Billy Bob are close.
Yeah, they're getting kind of hot. You know the old game.
So
you
since
walk
they're
around.
close, like, what's the exact date it was released?
Yeah.
Like January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August.
Oh, it has to be October.
October. What's your guess? October. What number?
13th.
13th. Okay. And your date? Okay. So I think. Am I wrong? Did Chris win? Billy Bob won that one.
October
what was the official
25th,
date?
1978. The John.
It doesn't
Carpenter.
matter. It's a point against Mike's binder anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're all winners.
What we're going to do is we're going to count how many people here, and that's how many points he loses.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? Because for every point he's negative, he's got to make a donation to a charity.
So October
we got this new charity
25th,
set up, the ODB
1978.
Foundation, and it goes right into the kind of the parts, deal, whatever. But I definitely appreciate. I want to give anybody kind of any last words. And do you want to jump in real quick? You want to say anything about your pops getting voted in, patched in?
Yeah.
Because I want to get.
So this is Dylan Mull. This is
it
Billy Bob's
DYLAN?
son.
D-I.
D-I?
Double L-O-N.
D-I double. So like the football player, Dylan, D-I-O. So you just got to hold it up here. But Dylan, it's got to be a good feeling. I know you guys have a lot going on, busy lives. You're down from Idaho as well, but your pops is getting patched in. The Hall of Fame, dude.
Right. Growing up, seeing him do all of it, just being around it, it's pretty cool for sure. That's why I came. Sad my brother couldn't make it because my brother's watched it his whole life too. But no, it's an honor to be here for sure, to get the time off, be around all you guys. Probably known Ron the longest. Went to the Relaxed All-Star show in Tennessee with Ron and a couple other guys. But, yeah, it's awesome to be here, and I can't wait to see it happen tonight. So,
yeah, cool.
Congrats to my dad for sure.
Awesome. I'm going to get a last word from Chuck in a minute, but does anybody else want to say anything? I do. Yeah, go ahead, Joey. J-Dub, a.k.a. Hard Taco.
Well, I definitely want to tell Billy Bob congratulations. I'm going to be there with him tonight, fortunately, but, I want the Airhead Nation to hear me say it, and congratulations on your inductee thing.
Yeah, and everybody, I think a lot of people, a lot of the younger people, they may not know all the history and stuff. I want to give huge kudos to Bob Hayes for the Mini Truck Hall of Fame. I think we're very fortunate. Our scene, we had a magazine. We've had countless DVDs. We've had other publications. We've had cover trucks. We've had podcasts now and things like that. But we're very fortunate to have two things. That we had the magazine is number one, and then we just have so many great people that are part of the scene, and Billy Bob is one of those. And to me, as being a committee member, I voted for Billy Bob, which he deserves it. But I also think this is a key thing that we got to continue to get the good people that deserve to get in these trucks and things like that, like with Time Machine and whatnot. So we got to keep pushing that. And again, I want to give a tip of the cap to Bob Hayes for doing what he does.
And one last thing, it's a true honor to be sitting at this table right now with some real legends in the scene.
And
Billy Bob and Ron,
and,
Hank, Jeff, you, Chuck.
Hank.
I mean,
we just all, and we talked about this earlier. Jeff and I did for Mini Garage. I think the key thing is we're all just regular people. We have different levels of passion. We're good at some things. I'm still trying to figure out podcasting. Billy Bob's a great metal guy, all this different stuff. But it's cool because, our passion bleeds through, and hopefully people continue to hear that. They subscribe to what we're doing here. So thanks for saying that. I want to give one last word from Chizuk, and then we're going to wrap this segment up and continue our coverage of SEMA 2023. Chuck, we were boots on the ground a few minutes today. We had to go get our badges. We got that quick sneak peek. Some of the doors, they said, hey, man, if Hank's not with you, you can't go in. They saw the media passes. But you got to be super stoked. Your first time here. Dude,
Yes.
What are you thinking, bro?
It's incredible. It's going to be badass. From what I just saw in a short hour that we were there.
Yeah, tip of the cap to Randy. A lot of us came out to see what he's got going on. I know Barcia, he surprised a lot of people. NC Florida as well. There's going to be a ton of stuff. Stick with us, continuing the coverage of SEMA 2023. Thank you all for taking the time. Let's jump in that damn van and drive a few minutes over, and we're going to have a damn good time, and we're going to keep the coverage coming, y'all. Yeah. Stay on the rise. Hey, we're continuing our coverage of SEMA 2023. We've got Zach here from Universal Air. Zach, how you doing, brother?
Good. How about yourself?
Good. Thank you for taking the time. I come by the booth every year. This booth is one of my favorites with the light-up tanks, just a great display. What's the feeling like so far, day one early for SEMA 2023 for you guys?
Yeah, for us, honestly, SEMA's always been exciting. We have our displays that we actually actuate. Gets a lot of attention, and everyone loves it. But this year, it's actually been very great for us. We were blessed, and we got the SEMA New Product Award for our Chevy Aeroleaf for the 1500.
Congrats. Yeah, and what's cool is you guys aren't just doing like typical custom stuff. I've seen things like this over here where it's like kind of helper bag type situations and things like that. You guys have really expanded, and I think that's one difference, that you don't pigeonhole yourselves into one particular product line.
Right, yeah, we always try to expand, but actually you think that's helper bags, but the main core design is to make it ride softer and loaded.
Oh, awesome.
And still keep the cargo capacity, which is your typical helper bag system.
You're the engineer, and that's why I'm the podcaster. No, I like that. So as we look around here, one of the things a couple years ago, there was a guy, I think his name was Tingen. Yes. He had a car that was in the Ford booth.
Yes.
And you guys had explained to me that it was one of the first tanks. It was kind of early production.
Yes.
How successful and how excited have you been to bring the new light-up tanks to market?
The acrylic tank's been great. We did have some issues. The main thing was that when you actually run it as an air tank, you get water buildup inside of there, and so it doesn't look very good.
Yep, got it.
So from there, with our final production units, we actually put in aluminum liners in them, which you can't see, so that we don't see the water build up from the moisture.
Oh, interesting. Wow, yeah, that's pretty
it still
cool.
Lights up. This controller's acting up a little bit, so it's kind of twitching.
Something that I put on my 64 Lincoln is this modular tank, and I saw it first here, and I said I knew I had to have it. One of the neat things that you guys have done is you kind of know, in my opinion, you know where you're at and in terms of the products that you produce. So I've seen like your products coupled with Viair as well as AccuAir. They've been on board with us for a while now as well. What's neat is some of these tank setups, it allows for you to modulate it, I guess is maybe the word, and use it with other product lines, but it's the central piece is the Universal Air part.
Right. Well, for us, we always try to work with the companies that make the best components. We offer the AccuAir, we offer the Airlift, we offer the Viair.
Yep.
All those different companies focus on what they're best at, and we like to focus on what we're best at, doing the actual suspension components. And we see different areas where no one wants to build products for it, like the light-up tank and the billet tank. So we kind of try to make things that are unique, but still utilize a lot of the best components out in the market.
Yeah, I like, well stated. Being a mini trucker, we've been into airbags since the mid-'90s. One misconception that a lot of folks, and I think people get away with it, I live in Florida where it's high moisture. I love the water traps that you guys sell. I have a couple of those. My buddy Jimmy at Jimmy's Running Customs installed those. I always recommend the water traps to people, obviously different climates and things like that. How key is that to help keep the moisture out of maybe valves and things like that?
Well, to be honest with you, the water traps, in my eyes, best used as an actual air filter.
Filter, okay,
yeah,
right.
It's to keep the debris and stuff out of the valves.
Got it.
Most valves can actually handle the water going through it. It's not usually that big of a deal. But it doesn't help them at all.
Got it.
So if you can get it out, great. If not, bigger thing is to keep any small fine particulate or debris
from
out.
like sometimes the inside of the manufacturing of the bags and those little pieces sometimes can kind of get through, and that helps to filter that out. Is that a misconception?
It's more of just the dust and the pollen in the air.
I see, okay.
There's air filters on the compressors, they collect a lot of it, but still a lot of it gets into there. If you ever take apart an older compressor and you look underneath the head of it, you're going to see a lot of junk inside there.
Oh, yeah.
That's basically getting spit into your tank, which is going out to your valves.
Oh, yeah. Now, as I got a few more minutes, a couple more questions.
Yes.
As we turn here and we kind of take a look at some of the newer stuff that you guys are possibly offering, what's the important thing for you to go and expand with? Like, this seems like a new setup to me that I don't recall seeing. Now, I don't come every year, so I may have missed it last year. But explain some of this stuff that you guys got going on.
Sure. This is actually our new Aeroleaf system. The patent hasn't been published yet, but we have been approved for it.
Okay.
Essentially, we have a bearing in the middle here that is like if you took a leaf spring, broke it in half, and put a bearing in it.
Yep.
So we're utilizing front leaf spring mount, rear leaf spring mount, and U-bolt to the axle. This thing stays completely centered underneath there. You don't need any panhards or Watt-link or anything like that. And we do actually mount the air spring inside the link so it's leveraged. Now it's going to give us more travel, like if you put a bag on a bar.
Got it.
As well as put the load from the chassis on the factory leaf spring points where it's designed for.
Excellent. I appreciate the explanation. A couple more things. When we talk about the bags, one thing that I've really appreciated over the course of time is, keep me honest, folks can call Universal Air if they want to buy a product or go online, or
Yes.
do you don't have to be you can call retail and buy stuff.
Yeah, of
so
course.
God forbid if you've had, my wife's Dodge Charger was bagged a long time with these products. And over time, obviously, you've got your normal maintenance. If I needed a bag, I could call, and you guys would generally ship it out the same day, and that's really customer-friendly. What's the difference between your bags and some of the others on the market?
Well, the biggest difference going to be is that we actually focus on making a lot of different products. If you look at our bags, we have a lot of bags. Most custom car companies don't make this many different variations of bags. And the big reason is, yes, they all go up and down. You put weight on them, they'll stay there. But the big thing is different bags are needed for different applications.
Got it.
So if you want to make it ride good, you do need to have a lot of different options. Just like if you put a set of springs on the car, you don't have one or two springs that you throw on every single car.
Got it. And as we kind of wind it down, I wanted to take a look at some of the modular setups over here. This was one of the ones I remember, the white one with the different tanks. And obviously, you've got some eye candy, so to speak, in terms of the hard lines, right? Which is it's become just an ultra popular thing. This was the first one I saw a couple of years ago, and I kind of fell in love because with the billet aluminum bracketry that you have, you can do these different configurations, orientations, and whatnot. Have you guys seen some success with some of these product offerings?
Oh yeah, honestly, the billet tank has taken off a lot more than I ever thought it would.
Yeah.
To me, the main thing was, it's a fancy tank. You can throw it in a show car. You can do the crazy hard lines. But at the end of the day, it makes it simple. You can mount your valve to it, mount your pumps to it. It's like a drop-in unit. And you can customize it. You can put them on different sides of it and do whatever you want.
Yep. Excellent. If they want to find out more information, where should they? I know you guys are bigger on social media now. Where should they go?
Instagram's Universal Air, or even our website's universalair.com. YouTube's is Universal Air as well. Or, of course, give us a call at 800-864-2470.
Zach Ratcliffe, thank you so much for taking the time, our friends. Listen, we love that you guys come out here and support the scene. What's one of my favorite displays from the coloring and how you guys do all of this. And I tell you what, you guys have a great brand. And I wouldn't say that unless I was running it on my 64 Lincoln with my modular tank. So we're going to continue our coverage here of SEMA 2023. Let's keep it going.
Thank you.
Thanks, Zach. Hey, we're continuing our coverage of SEMA 2023. We got Kyle Fannin, the new host.
New guest co-host occasionally, once, twice, 3 times a year.
Mike, if you're watching or listening, which we know he doesn't listen, if you're hearing this, dude, you're going to have to submit a new, like an employee binder, kind of like a resume.
I heard I have a binder with tick marks.
Yep, like when companies are doing cutbacks, like, the people got to apply for the positions. Kyle, dude, it's early in the week. You got in yesterday. What's the vibe so far at SEMA 2023?
Man, I think that it's more space, like we said last year. But there's people in line at 9 o'clock waiting for the doors to open. It was a bum rush to get in here. I think people are happy to come see this stuff, but there's more room. And I think a lot of it has to do with the more space, the West Hall and all of that. Like, I did see Ford's back. Did you see them?
I did not see that Ford's back, but I saw Toyota had their old spot, which is interesting because we've talked a little bit about the dynamic of, our company's leaving here. Is the money really well spent here? But I can tell you this, obviously we're not looking at the actual tick mark sheets, but when you look at the volume of people and you can barely get a photo, then, so it's just insane because, at the end of the day,
there's way more.
There's a lot of people here.
Aftermarket manufacturers here. I think that, that's the new thing. Well, not the new thing, but I guess more people are customizing stuff than it is to release a brand new pickup or a car. And I think that's what the manufacturers are realizing, that the aftermarket is where
drives the drives the whole kind of industry.
And Ford kind of went that way with the new Bronco. Like they're trying to make their own
modular stuff. Kind of compete like a little bit more with Jeep and all that. Listen, I appreciate you giving us a word. I want to try to link back up with you because I know you're going to go walk around with the homies. I'm going to get with Mike here. We're going to talk a little bit about airlift. We can't thank you enough for coming on, but let's sync back up a little bit as we're continuing our coverage of SEMA 2023.
Yeah, we'll see you. We out here.
Hey, we're continuing our coverage of SEMA 2023. We got Mike Alexander, the Mike Alexander.
Yo, yo, yo.
What's the vibe so far? It's early in the week. How you feeling?
Yeah, so far so good, man. Like, it's just good energy. This is our biggest booth we've ever done as Airlift as a company. Ton of great builds, so much quality. Just high end. I've seen a lot of completed rides that run, which is, I mean, that's a good thing, right, at SEMA?
Yeah, the times are changing.
Yeah, good vibe.
Here's something that's interesting. You know, our audience, if you think about, I was over in another booth earlier today, and we were talking about how far air suspensions come. You think quarter-inch lines, dual needle gauges, and whatnot. Did you ever think in a million years we'd be talking about crazy manufacturing, and oh, by the way, we can control stuff with our phone now?
Right, yeah, apps, air suspension on your phone, height sensors, all the things. It has come a long way. I mean, since you and I have been doing it, manual valves, plumbing ball valves out of Home Depot.
right. Well, we never did that.
Just kidding.
We'll edit that out.
Yeah, we didn't do that.
Yeah, and you think about the innovation that you guys have made. You know, a lot of people don't know this, but air suspension goes all the way back to like the 50s with the Greyhound buses and all that. But Airlift has continued to push the limits. Where do you maybe see, I know you can't predict and give us all of the answers, but do you continue to see evolution? Like, where do you see stuff go in the next couple of years?
Oh, absolutely. There's always evolution. I mean, dating back, it's a family-owned company since 1949, so that's why we're doing our 75-year here. There will always be something new and innovative coming out of Airlift, but to look forward a few years, I do feel that, like, you know, height sensor technology is changing, compressor technology is changing. There's a ton of new ways that we can do some of the old things, especially with advanced robotic manufacturing, a lot of the things that we're doing. So over the next few years, you'll see next-gen air management, you'll see some updates and some things I can't exactly talk about.
Right, exactly. Now, one of the things when you came on board years ago, the Flow brand came on board as well.
Yes, sir.
And when I walk around here a lot, you know, you've made a lot of inroads over the years. There's a lot of vehicles with those tanks, and I think it also adds kind of the flair, so to speak, when you think of the stainless steel and some of the aluminum hardlines that people are doing. That, to me, was like a big jump in seeing these modular tanks.
Right. The quality of install has come a long way, right? Because we used to hide our air suspension. It was kind of the redheaded stepchild.
Sure.
The car looks great low, the truck looks great on the ground, but the air suspension not so much. So to beautify it, to simplify it, but to make the install stand out, like in our Corral, that black C10 from Arizona High Test, the hard lines, the setup, the twin turbos, just amazing quality, high-end stuff, and it's beautiful. It's works of art, right?
Yeah, the black 69 Lincoln over there, I want to say it has the flow tanks in it as
Yeah,
well.
it's got a dual setup.
Yeah, which is crazy because who would have ever thought all those years ago with basically our Home Depot tanks we started with that would rust on the inside that, you know, you'd be able to have the ends come off and
The blue Walmart tank, actually, to be specific.
Right. The Home Depot valves, right? We never did that, though. With Airlift, where you guys are positioned now, some of you guys are able to work, because my understanding, you kind of work remotely, and you help control a lot of different aspects, you know, and your hands are on a lot of different pieces.
Right.
Do you see value in coming to SEMA every year? Obviously, you got a bigger booth, but where else can people see you guys throughout the country?
Yeah, absolutely, and worldwide. We'll be at Essen in Germany.
Nice.
2 months or a month and a half from now. But yeah, all over the world we do trade shows. But more specifically, the ability for people to obtain information online. Our website's getting a revamp, so we'll be talking about that here soon.
Great.
A lot of just, you know, to the consumer information, content marketing, just fun stuff. You know, we love the people, we love Air Ride, and we love to have fun with it.
Yeah, you guys use the hashtag Life on Air,
right?
I believe. Now, are there two? Because I don't know this. When I think of Airlift and you think of some of the newer school stuff, are there two facets of the business?
Yeah, so the way the business is broken into two divisions. Airlift Company is our load support, tow haul division, like the helper bag stuff. That you would traditionally see as just tow support.
And that could also go fleet type stuff,
right.
and all that.
Yep, job site stuff.
Yep.
And Airlift Performance is our slammed division. You know, the performance vehicle stuff, the truck, car.
Yep. Yeah, and over the years, the stuff I've had, one of the benefits, I believe, and keep me honest, in the past when I've called there, even some of the older bags that maybe have been sunsetted, so to speak, you guys would still have them, and a lot of times they'd ship out the same day. And I remember doing that. I had an old original kit that had it was a digital controller,
right?
But it was like the infancy,
the early V2 or
right,
whatever.
Exactly,
yeah.
and you think about 15, 20 years later, how much, like we said, it's changed.
Yeah, and a lot of stuff. I mean, we pride ourselves on customer service.
Yes,
so
yeah.
We really care. If someone calls in, we're gonna figure out a solution.
Yep. As we kind of wrap it up here, I wanted to kind of ask you what gets you excited every day when you wake up out of bed in terms of the business that you're in?
Man, I just love, I mean, we go way back, you and
Sure.
me, like custom cars, it's our life, it's our passion, but I just love the people continuing to invent something new, impress us with something new. Every time you get to SEMA, you're like, man, I've been thinking about that, but I just never really understood how it came together. Just seeing the excitement around, new innovative products and the people that make it happen.
Yeah, the 80s, the 90s, all of that nostalgia stuff is back, so it's cool that you can come here and you can see a patina ride. I mean, 20 years ago, when we were in mini trucks, you would have never thought, like, you'd be like, you can't get in a club because you're not painted. But now it's like you can have a bag DeLorean with that stainless look.
Right.
Or, oh, by the way, you can have a truck that's been sitting outside 100 years that's got a new drivetrain. So.
And it's just as cool, right? Or like some of the Lincolns, too. Like, things come and go trend-wise, but I think classic style, taste, just having the ability to see what a car would be. I think that's always a hit. It's always a hit.
Yeah, I'll say this, Max Grundy, I know you've had a relationship with him in the past and still do. I got a chance to see the camper deal over there. Like, that's just another example of just, like, wow, like, dude, like.
Yeah, doing something new in a different way, but, like, everyone looks at that and goes, yeah, I've thought of that.
Yeah,
but not actually done it.
And I didn't want to polish all that. I don't want to polish my billet wheels, let alone that thing. But seriously, that's the cool thing about when you come here. Each time I do, every few years, it's like I get excited because I just go, wow, like, can we keep ratcheting things up?
Right.
And the answer from the American public and really the worldwide is that the answer is yes. It's going to keep going to the next level. So whether we want it or not, and we of course want it.
Right. Well, I always think of you look at extreme sports. Did you ever think people would be doing what they're doing on BMX right now? When we were kids.
Or the Nitro Circus stuff, like the recliners, backflips and shit. I'm like, wait, what?
You're just like, wait a minute. So, I mean, as people, we will always continue to one-up each other because that's what we do, especially as dudes.
Yeah, for sure. Any last words for everyone out there?
No, I'd just like to thank everyone for watching OLP, and thank you for visiting us at SEMA. If you're here, come by and say hi.
Airlift Performance, check them out, and also tap on the hashtag Life on Air. Good people, lots of great products. You'll be hearing more about them. Take care, everyone.
Thanks,
We're going to
guys.
keep this coverage going.
Cheers.
Hey, we're continuing our coverage of SEMA 2023, and we got Mr. Brandon Burrell.
What's going on?
Thanks for taking the time. Editor-in-Chief at Street Trucks. What's so far the vibe that you've seen at SEMA 2023?
As usual, a lot of high-end stuff, a lot of over-the-top wow factor stuff.
Yep.
Several of our feature and cover vehicles are here. So that always works out.
It's early in the week, and we're getting a jump on it. Here's the cool thing that I've seen with the magazines flying off the shelves. We have the November issue or you guys have the November issue
here
hitting.
in the booth, yes.
And you have a couple things. Also, the what's the Rocco C10 that Johnny O shot? That's also able to be picked up here.
Yeah, that's our newest cover of the November issue. Johnny O shot it in the studio with fire behind it, real fire, not photoshopped. So,
yeah, pretty cool stuff. Now, in addition to that, we got to remind people they got to subscribe.
Yes, 100% subscribe. If you can't find it in the stores, subscribe. You can buy it online.
StreetTrucksMag.com.
Yeah, StreetTrucksMag.com. You can buy copies if you need more copies. You can buy them online.
Yep.
Same price as the store.
Now, kind of ironic that the November issue was just hitting. And obviously, with this stuff being done in advance, we've already seen a sneak peek of December. Can you kind of let the audience know what they're expecting?
December's got a sneak peek already. We're actually working on the January issue, just production times. You have to go ahead. December issue, it's our holiday issue. We have a cool red Santa sled on the cover. Madison Schulman's Lightning, with a pack full of Christmas gifts in the bed. So.
And something that a birdie had told me when you talk about the holiday themed, I think they're going to see that throughout that issue. So that's kind of cool. We've seen that in years past with different publications, including Street Trucks.
Yeah.
But that's kind of cool that you guys are thinking ahead with that stuff.
Yeah, like the December issue being a holiday issue, it's got a holiday buyer's guide in it. Every feature in it's either red or white, just ties the theme together. So.
Yeah. Now, I know we can't probably talk much about January, but like you said, with it being worked on, I think our audience, our audience, they're going to be highly anticipating that one, and they're going to be super excited, I'm sure, when that one hits newsstands and mailboxes.
Yeah, the January issue, it's going to be a throwback. You OG mini truck guys will understand when it comes out. We've got some stuff surprise coming out.
Cool.
There's a lot of little details that's being tied in. We'll see how many of our readers can link it back to the throwback.
Yep, I think it's going to be very cool. I know you have been hustling on a new project. Can you just tell us quickly about the newer build that you did for SEMA 2023?
Yeah, so I've got Project Stockish. It's a 23 Sierra 1500 diesel. It's actually in the Drop Stars booth outside.
Nice.
4.6 drop, 26s. Of course, my typical full interior touch to it. So,
yeah, and you're no stranger, as we've talked about in the past, to SEMA. You've been to a lot of these, and if you were counting, and for those scoring at home, you've had your hand in your personal vehicles as well as some of your friends, countless.
This year, the Project Stockish this year is my 8th SEMA placement since 2014.
Wow.
Some vehicles have come back a couple times.
Sure.
So,
very cool. I like the numbers, and I like looking at some of the history and whatnot. Street Truck started August 99, so we're rolling into 2024, technically the 25th year, so I'm kind of getting excited about that. I think it's the 25th year. I wish you guys all the success, and I love what you guys are doing. I would highly encourage people, like Brandon said, you can go out there and buy extra issues. So the December one's hot, November's hot, December's great. January for our audience, I think, is going to be over the top. So listen, it's going to be almost like collector's level, in my opinion.
Yes, 100%.
So I would tell people, like to Brandon's point, retail experience has transformed, and if you can't find it, like you said, on a newsstand, you just go to StreetTrucksMag.com. I think scroll to the bottom.
Yeah, same price as well.
And they'll show right up there in the mail.
The funny part is I know you guys can't see it, but our February cover is sitting 2 booths down. So.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, which
so
is
there's a lot
cool.
of stuff here that's in the works. To see it back in person this is where you see everything is at SEMA. So
I really can't end this without you giving an awesome shout out to your amazing, awesome wife. I know she's your ride or die.
He likes using the term awesome a lot.
Yeah, I do. I learned that from Mike. And I think she puts up with Brandon all the time and all his projects, and I know she loves you, right?
Yeah, for sure. She's my assistant this week, carrying my extra gear, my stuff I need. So I can't take pictures and talk to people and carry all my stuff. So
that's awesome. StreetTrucksMag.com. Check Burrell, Burrell Images on Instagram. You got to follow him. And also, let's not forget, I know you dabble a little bit in YouTube.
Yeah.
They can check out the channel.
Everything on my personal is all Burrell Images across all platforms. And, of course, the Street Truck stuff, the Motortopia YouTube page.
Yep.
We've got a lot of cool videos coming out with a lot of our features, some sit-down interviews, some behind-the-scenes stuff. So it gives everybody a digital perspective to go with the print side of it.
Yeah, they're transforming that online experience. So, again, Street Trucks, Burrell Images, and make sure you subscribe to the magazine because, hey, all you old school guys, we love our print magazines.
For sure.
Brandon, thank you so much for your time.
All right, man.
Have a great rest of the week.
You too.
Hey, no stranger to OLP. Randy Frederick, man. What's the feeling like? Ballistic 2 ballistic out there at SEMA 2023.
It's been a run, brother. I can't even put it into words what it's been, to be honest with you.
Papa Smurf used to say if I was a train, I'd be running right on time. And what I noticed is everything went, knock on wood, went super smooth for you. The trip out, you went in right at the designated time. What was the feeling like when they opened the floodgates on Tuesday, seeing all the people checking out 2 ballistic?
It was crazy the amount of love the truck got for what it is, and it's been a run. I'm still, kind of in shock, to be honest with you, Jay. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I know you have thanked many times the team behind it, but it's awesome to see kind of the fruits of the labor, if you will, seeing the truck there in the kicker booth. And, I saw Danny Coker and those guys over there a little bit earlier. The Lear guys were over there checking it out, probably thinking, damn, we got to bring these toppers back. But what's been like your favorite aspect so far with this journey that started about a week ago when you left to Vegas?
The highlight of the so far of the week was meeting Pat Nickel. He came out today, which is Thursday, and sat in the truck, loved the truck, signed some items that we're going to go ahead and auction off at, say, Southeast Mini Truck Nats and a couple other shows, to help people out, because that's what it's about, is helping everybody out. It was just, it's been a whirlwind, Jason. I can't say thank you enough to my team that helped get the truck to where it's at,
Yeah, I mean, tip of the cap, when you think of, like, we've recapped this a couple times, but, there was the sneak peek preview in Custom Trucks Mag. Bohm gets featured in Custom Trucks Mag. There's more coming with print. There's a few more things that you've lined up there. It's really kind of an unprecedented run in this modern era of mini trucking because, with their a lack of print magazines and sometimes outlets, it might seem, but everybody's kind of descending upon your truck to say, hey, we want a piece of you getting this in their media, and that's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And like I said, there's another magazine coming out and Street Trucks covers coming out. I mean, it's just unprecedented. I would have never thought in a million years it would have got this far.
Oh, yeah. How has Sarah enjoyed the trip over there, and you guys just been really kind of living life? How's all that been?
Oh, it's great. She's never been this far west, and it's like a vacation. It's just, we're in the Venetian right now looking at the blue sky, but we're inside a building. It's pretty crazy.
Oh, yeah. I tell you, when we look back in 20, 30 years, we're going to be a little older, but we're going to look back and say, man, this was an era when, Two Ballistic came out swinging, and, for Pat Nickel to come and sit in the truck and, give his tip of the cap. And like many people have said it, man, this build really was like far above and beyond. But you got to remember, like I've told people, and I think Pat even said that, 30 years ago, people were trying to figure this stuff out. So the fact that you've got this thing dialed in with the powder-coated chassis, the Colorado custom wheels, the kicker audio, that amazing paint, it just really is like blam right on you, man.
Oh, absolutely. And what was even more special is him giving the tip of the cap saying, you did an awesome job.
Yeah.
To get his approval for something. I said, man, I had to hug him like 5 or 6 times, to be honest with you, Jason, because to me, he's a superstar, right? I mean, yeah. I said, dude, I don't know how many times I've looked at this magazine and whatnot and just wondered what the hell,
Yeah.
It's amazing. And he was honestly thrown back, just the quality of the truck and the people that put the truck together. It was just awesome.
Oh yeah. I know when we were in the kicker booth, we got to see a lot of their stuff. And what's cool, and I wanted to reinforce, is that with your audio, Kicker went through all of that old school stuff, but they do have a lot of newer stuff. If people want to, throw together a system, really, they should look no further than Kicker.
Oh, absolutely. They're the only privately owned speaker company in the United States, if not the world now, after JL Audio sold out. So.
And you met the owner because, when you and I talked about a year and a half ago, maybe even 2 years ago, and you kind of had hatched this plan. You said, I'm going to be 50. Kicker is going to be 50 because 73, right? So that's really, really cool how some of those stars aligned.
Oh, absolutely. Steve Irby, the owner of Kicker, was super nice, and they've done nothing but gracious to me and my wife and the crew here at SEMA 2023. I can't say enough about these guys, man. The company is fantastic. In fact, we're stopping by there on the way home to do a photo shoot and a video for them at their building. So
now, I believe, keep me honest, you have a flow tank in there. We got some audio on this episode with Mike Alexander. Of course, flow rolls up under airlift now. And I tell you, with the tailgate down, it just looks so good in there with the lights on and all that old school equipment there.
Oh, yeah. They've been nothing but gracious, too. We had a problem with one of their old tanks, and they sent me a brand new tank, no questions asked. So I would definitely recommend hooking up with Flow, and if you need your air suspension or airlift needs.
Oh, yeah. As we wind it down, I want to say this. I did want to hang more, but it just everything didn't line up. We did get a chance to go to Peppermill, which was cool seeing you guys and Eric, who were a couple of the homies that were able to peel away from home and come out to see the truck there in Vegas.
To be honest with you, almost everyone except Steve Hansen. You had Paul Davis, you had Fred Hebron, April Hebron, Chad Gill, Matt Reynolds, Amanda Reynolds, the whole crew, everybody except Steven Hansen, to be honest with you.
Cool. And Steve's back probably hustling, working, holding down the fort?
Yeah, I would think so. The the amount of dedication these guys to come out here, because it's not cheap to come out here, Jay. We ate at Fat Burger. It was $50 for 2 burgers, 2 drinks, and fries, bro. $50.
That's why I'm at In-N-Out Burger
lunch,
eating for like $8,
so,
dog.
oh yeah, absolutely. We ate there once. We should have ate there more because it's just been ridiculous, man.
Yeah. Well, hey, man, I tell you, like, it's been awesome. And, to have the little small part, I mean, obviously we've become good friends over the years. I always tell people, hey, that's my brother. And I said, you talk bad about Randy, you're going to get knocked the F out. You know what I mean? So the way I look at it is this, man. You've been around this scene a long time ago, or for a long time. Courtney shot the Nissan hardbody all those years. But, the passion is what really drives a lot of kind of what we do. And this passion that you've had the last couple of years has been like, dude, really a flagship build that I think will go down in mini trucking history that as one of the baddest out there, bro.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the kind words, and I appreciate it. Like I said, I hope so, because these guys deserve the credit, and the truck is not going to change. Somebody overheard somebody saying, "Oh, add graphics," and then it's not the same truck. You know what I mean? This truck is going to stay the same. And I said that to Pat, and he agreed 100%. So.
Yeah, well, good stuff. Well, listen, I know you've got a few important days ahead of you. Be safe. The good thing is, UPS overnight driver, so you don't need the toothpicks like Mike Murray, but seriously, you and Sarah, be safe getting home, and I can't wait to see you at the next show, brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, and you take care. You and Mike keep doing what you do, man. I really appreciate it.
Thanks. Give everyone our best and stay on the rise, Randy. We'll talk soon.
All right. Will do. See you.
Hey, we're continuing our coverage of SEMA 2023, and we're linking up now with Mike Barcia. Mike, dude, salute. What a crazy thing you've recently done. You already had set the bar high, and then boom, you come back with no compromise. I don't even want to call it a 2.0, dude, but man, you got to be on cloud 9 right now.
Yeah, it's really incredible. When Justin and I kind of came up with the concept, of trying to change some stuff, is more how I've been kind of saying it, more so than a 2.0 or anything like that. But yeah, just super happy to be here. The response has been absolutely awesome. And the concern for me was, how do you make all these changes, but make sure they're all for the better and not ruin something that I felt like really came out really absolutely awesome. Yeah. And I feel like we got the right people and we're able to accomplish that.
Yeah, having lived in the Tampa Bay area, I've been around the scene a long time. You predate me. We've always known, like even going back to your mini trucking feature with the Isuzu, right? It's you always set a high bar for yourself and for the rides, and you've supported the scene a very, very, very long time. And I still remember, I told Chuck this one day, I remember when you first got that dually, I think it was black. And I remember you and Chuck cruising it over at there's a Burger King like 5 minutes from my house, and we used to do a little cruise in there. And I remember when I think it was first bagged, and you guys cruised through, and it's crazy to see the progression from it. Of course, when it was featured in Tailgate, many don't maybe remember that, but now this kind of refresh, if you will. Talk to us about a few things that you decided to do.
Well, I've had the truck since 2001, Jason. And yeah, it was black originally, and we painted it blue and silver. Got featured a few times, one of them being also in Truckin as well.
Yeah, that's right.
And then we built a chassis, and I showed the chassis, which featured street trucks with an unbelievable feature, and then debuted it here in Vegas in 2018.
Yep.
And I've had a wonderful time with the truck, and over these last few years, I accomplished a lot more than I ever anticipated to be able to accomplish. But I got to the point to where, Slamfest kind of a perfect example. Mike, you won it twice. It never gets anybody twice. For best of show, you can bring it back, but you can't compete. And we just want it on display. Well, that's kind of a bummer. I worked really hard for the truck for 15 years, and so what do you do at that point in time? It takes the wind out of your sail, so
sure. You
either sell it, you try and drive it and you kind of ruin it, or you redo it. And talking to Justin and Eli, they're like, oh, let's add graphics, let's do this, let's do that. And it kind of snowballed. And here we are in Vegas 2023 at SEMA, in the Sony booth. So the whole thing started, with changing the fuel injection setup. I was having an issue with it chasing sensors, so I wanted to change the fuel injection setup. So we went over the Holly Sniper system and Justin and Eli swapped all that out. We put in a whole new lower intake and do the sniper system, put new computers and everything in it. And then I had Cisco build a custom upper intake. And then, of course, we did the graphics and, so Twin States, Justin, Eli blew the truck apart, sent it down, prepped it all. And, we brought in Daniel, we were talking about it a lot, and I love Daniel to death as a person. He's a phenomenal guy. He's always done great work, and I feel like his work has just gotten so much better throughout the years.
And now, did the truck always have air conditioning?
Yeah, it always had AC. You just didn't have the controller. It was kind of more hidden. It was in the console, but it wasn't real obvious. All the AC stuff was there. Just didn't really realize it. And by changing the dash, the AC now, it's more, more focused upon the AC controls. And I had AC vents before, but now obviously with the new dash that MTI built me, the dash is, has all the 3D printed AC vents, one on the right and left, and then one in the center by the AC controls itself.
Yeah, absolutely. And in the steering wheels one off, did you have to end up changing it? Because it seemed like the steering column may have been changed too, because now you got the gear selector.
Yeah, so it's the same column. It's a Flaming River drop column. I just reached out to Jonathan Peace over it, and had him build me one of his killer wheels. But, I talked to Jonathan a while about doing a one-off, and he's like, I can do them. I don't really do a lot of them. They get expensive. And we worked through a concept and a design. And next thing you know, I have a Spark one-off steering wheel, super good guy, and he does really killer work. It's a long process when you're trying to design something one-off like that. One thing that we really did that was different is the bottom of the steering wheel, the spokes connect together, which he's never done that before. He always has an outer ring, which we obviously had a ring, but we actually had the actual wheel connect on the bottom, which was pretty unique and different. And then we took the design elements of the dash and put it in the right and left side of the steering wheel, but then put the ovals half throughout the truck in the bottom of the steering wheel. So that way it works with the dash that's in it. It also takes an element of the oval of the truck. And I also work with Dan over Lumacraft, and he built me a one-off billet grill. It's got the ovals in that as well. We changed out the headlights. Of course, so Phoenix Forge is a newer wheel company. They built my center caps that I had on the truck before. And, we started going on this process of, oh my gosh, we've changed, we have the graphics now, and we're talking about doing interior stuff, and, we're going to do the fuel injection and change the motor stuff. And I'm like, if we're doing all that, we need to change the wheels, to keep it fresh. And so I reached out to Phoenix Forged, and he built me a set of one-off wheels, and we talked a while about it. Probably just 2 months to design the wheels that I was happy with. And one of the crazy parts about the wheels, I don't know if you saw the pictures, but the wheels machined inside and out of all the wheels.
Yeah.
So all the machine work that you see is on both sides of each wheel, which I've never seen a wheel ever do that before, which is pretty wild. My Diamondback tires are the same way. Diamondback has never done that before. The stripe is on the inside and the out of all the tires.
Awesome.
So that's pretty unique. I always try to think of both sides of each thing, not just one,
Sure.
to make sure that it looks right to me, and I think we were able to accomplish a lot of little changes, but that added up to a lot. Obviously taking the truck out to Texas and having Chris Pate and his team at MTI build a new dash, do the new center console. I don't know if you noticed, I also did push button start on the truck.
I did.
So that's pretty
cool.
cool.
I saw the Acura controller next to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then of course we try to, the idea was to do more of a modern hot rod interior, and I really love my seats and love the colors and everything. But I thought that changing the dash and the console could really modernize the interior. And, I felt like right after I debuted my truck originally that kind of was the direction the big builds were going. And I'm like, man, I came out with a classic style dash, when everybody else is going modern. So it gave me something to look forward to and a change and to hopefully better. It's very hard to make these decisions to change something that I really loved to death and accomplished a lot. And how do you change it and not mess it up, make something that looked great, make it look bad, and pull it off. And, the feedback so far is everybody's been blown away with it. And everybody's been incredibly complimentary and been like, oh my gosh. And So it really stands out to the people that work really hard, between, Justin and I from Twin States, and obviously Chris Payton, the guys at MTI, and then, the Phoenix Forge for the wheels, and just all these people in Cisco for the upper intake. We went back and forth a bunch on that. It's a lot of moving parts, and to make sure it all comes together, and we did renderings for things and to make sure things came out right,
Absolutely.
But I think in the long run, it all came out really awesome.
Oh yeah, and one of the tip of the caps that you've gotten so far, obviously Sema's still full steam ahead this week. We're kind of midweek. Is the best custom interior by it's a Trim Award, TMI.
Yes.
Of course, a big name in the industry. And again, we saw you post that via Instagram. So congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, that was pretty amazing. I made the top 20 top interiors at SEMA by TMI for their Trim Awards. To make the top 20, I thought was just mind blowing. Out of like thousands of some of the best cars in the country,
Sure.
and some of the world, right? There's cars from Australia and Japan here,
Oh yeah.
And to make the top 20 is incredible, and then to turn around and win best truck interior was just like wow,
yeah.
just mind blowing, and it just really it's a huge thanks to Chris and the team at MTI and SmithWorkx. Really, those two shops to build the interior that they did, it's just compliments to them and their hard work,
Oh yeah. Just a couple more questions. Talk to us about the gauge cluster, because that just seems like kind of next level. You're starting to see some of that in the newer vehicles.
Yeah, so being that we went over to the Holley Sniper fuel injection setup, we had the ability to use a Holley Pro Dash 12.3, and that was really Chris Pate pushing me to do that. And he's like, man, we're doing a modern style dash. We've got to do modern gauges. At the time when we started talking about redoing the dash, I really was thinking more like reaching out to Classic Instruments and doing a one-off gauge cluster with those guys. And Chris really pushed me in the direction of the modern, and I love it. It was actually very difficult to find as part of the whole shortage of inventory. I finally they're just not available. I finally was able to find a hot rod shop in Arkansas that was doing a build, and I guess the guy just pulled the plug on the build or whatever. So I was able to get the cluster from those guys. Unfortunately, you pay a premium to get products when you can't get them. But I absolutely love it. And I've got a guy I work with. His name is Andre. And I work with him and to build a digital image for the cluster. So that's a 100% custom graphic. Then we worked with another company that actually was able to make all the needles and everything on the graphic actually work. That's the tricky part. You can build a cool image, but that doesn't mean you can make it all work. So that was pretty neat to be able to pull something like that off. And he did a couple different renderings, some in the tan color, and et cetera. And I just really love the red, with my non-compromise logo in the center of it. I just think the red really helps, kind of bring it all together and helps make it pop.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you've done a great job kind of summarizing a lot of the things. And like I said, seeing the truck, kind of surprising a lot of people. I think there were, and I'm going to talk to Daniel Smith here in a few minutes, there were some rumblings. You've been doing a lot of the ceramic coatings at your house, and I saw like one time you posted a video or a photo, and everyone's like, well, where's your truck? So there were some rumblings of things that were going on, but what I like that you did, Mike, is that you really kept it under wraps, and nobody knew that you were just going to go blam, SEMA 2023. So that was certainly awesome.
Well, that was the whole thing. I feel bad for the people I lied. I told them that I was in storage.
Right, sure.
I'm like, yeah, it's over at my buddy's Chuck's house. He has a bigger garage than I do, and I'm doing all this ceramic coating. I need room in my garage, and I don't want to take a chance of hitting or whatever. And yes, I was full of shit, but I wanted to kind of keep it under the wrap. I mean, I didn't tell anybody. Like 5 people knew outside of all the people that were working on my truck or building parts. That's it. I didn't tell some people that I would call my best friends. Not that I don't love them to death and they're not my boys, but I wanted to keep an element of surprise. And some people also don't know how to keep their lips sealed.
Sure,
you
sure.
know?
Yeah, and that's a tough thing. I mean, even in the music industry, you have these guys doing, like Eminem's one of my favorite artists, dropping these surprise albums and stuff. There's NDAs and there's a lot of this stuff. So it's one of those things where it's just, it's the nature of the game, when you're trying to keep stuff under wraps. I wanted to say this. Congrats to your homie, one of your good buddies, David Phillips. I think he had won. My understanding was he had won Best of Show at Slamfest.
He did, yeah. So, David Phillips killed it with his truck. He's been building it or redoing stuff for 5 years. It was at Twin States as well. They did actually 2 motor swaps. They did 1 motor swap, put LS in it. I guess David didn't realize what he really had bought, but it was more of a race engine. When they finally got it fired up, it was like too much motor for that truck. It just didn't make sense. So they bought a whole nother crate motor, not a built motor this time, and they did that motor and they had interior work done. And he took the Corvette suspension and had all of it jet hotted. And then he bought shot wheels for it and matching steering wheel. Did a bunch of changes to the truck, and then he, luckily, I was able to talk him into bringing it out to Slamfest, and he actually had it down at Mirandaville. They had just put a new exhaust on it. He was having them do some other things. I'm like, dude, bring it to me. Let's polish out the paint. Let's make this thing look awesome. And I told him I thought he had a great chance of winning Best of Show at Slamfest, and we did that. I worked on the truck excess of 80 hours, in 2 weeks on top of my regular job to get the truck in the best condition I could. And we went out there, and yeah, he won Best of Show and won $5,000. And he also, Slamfest is donating $5,000 to a charity of his choice, which he did choose a charity for children for cancer.
Awesome.
I don't remember the exact charity,
name,
but
sure.
I know it's for children for cancer. I do know that for a fact.
Oh, yeah. We're talking with Mike Barcia. It's NC, short for negative camber, Mike, and then BARCIA. We highly encourage you. Many of you are probably already following Mike. If you're not, please check out some of his recent posts showing kind of the CAD drawings of the dash and many of the things that we just spoke about. Mike, like we said, congratulations, man. We know that not to date ourselves, but 30 years, a lot of us, I've been in the scene about 25, a little over 25, and you predate me. So, a lot of us have been going hard in the paint, going on 3+ decades, and we know you're one of them. So congrats for all the success. Thanks for doing the collab post with us earlier. And we tip our cap, man. Any last words?
Just thanks for the support. I appreciate the opportunity for the call, and let's just keep pushing and build next level trucks and keep the sport alive.
Yeah,
thing.
You know it. And on some of Mike's posts, if you tap on the hashtag or including his bio, he has it No Compromise with a Z, No Compromise Dually. All together, of course, you'll see kind of the curation of all of the posts and the evolution, we'll call it, of this truck. Mike, have a great rest of SEMA and safe travels home here to the Tampa Bay area.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, Justin. Talk to you soon, buddy.
Hey, we're continuing our SEMA coverage 2023, and we've got our friend Daniel Smith on from SmithWorkx. And Daniel, it's got to be a damn good feeling. Obviously, you've been on OLP before, but we were, at SEMA here, we're seeing not only Mike Alexander's Toyota pickup that you had your hands in, but, dude, tip of the cap, Mike Barcia's dually. Man, you did the graphics on it, and wow, it looks amazing.
Yeah, man, thanks. It was I think you meant Mike Finnegan, actually, but
oh, thank you. I say Alexander, yeah, Finnegan, thanks.
Yeah, man, it was awesome to get to do Barcia's truck for sure. I wasn't expecting that one, and then we did Finnegan's a couple of years ago where I was just, I was a hand with a bunch of other guys, Matt Hutchinson and Steve Nilsson and some other guys helped out, and that was a really good time, and glad to finally see it out and about. So
yeah, for sure. So I want to touch upon that. There was, some of us kind of know we're all in Florida, and there were in some of the circles, we kind of knew something was coming with Barcia's dually. What we didn't know was kind of the timing. And if anybody that knows Mike Barcia, you saw the truck before. It was amazing on the cover of Street Trucks, wins Truck of the Year. I think even the year before that it won like most influential or something to that effect. But, it already set a high level in terms of caliber. And then he comes back. What was it kind of like? You recall maybe that first call that you got from him saying, hey, we think we might want you, Daniel Smith at SmithWorkx, to do the work on it.
Yeah, I was in shock, to be honest with you. I got a couple calls and I didn't answer. It was like an out-of-state call, and Eli actually left me a voicemail. So when I finally answered it, I was like, "Oh crap! I need to probably call this guy back." So we just talked, and I guess they had another artist that couldn't make it for whatever reason, and Mike was like, "I think you'd probably be the next best guy, or the best guy, or whatever, however that falls." But so yeah, I was pretty excited, and I couldn't, that truck's just so nice already, and to have to be so cautious to, what you're doing, make it look just as good as it already is, and all that was pretty. It was a good time.
Yeah, it looks crazy, and of course, Mike, we got a chance to see via his social media. You guys can follow him, Barcia, last name, on Instagram. He has since shared some different behind-the-scenes type things, and of course, he tagged you in one of those with some behind-the-scenes photos. It always intrigues me, whether it's lowrider graphics on top of a sedan or a coupe car, or in this case, a crew cab dually. One, we knew the bed was taken off because we saw the behind-the-scene photos, but how, I know you may not want to give away all the secrets. How do you go about putting graphics on top of the cab? Do you have to end up with some sort of system where, you see people building block homes and things like that? Or do you end up with ladders, or what do you do?
Actually, we laid the truck out, and I stood on, I think, like a little one of those little ladder walkway things that kind of fold over. Probably lifts you up about maybe 1.5 feet or 2, whatever. And since it was mainly right there on that driver's edge, it wasn't too terribly bad. And then the way I kind of laid it out was I started at the hood, and then we had a place kind of in the bed where we wanted to land, and then I kind of just had to meet the two together and make it all look right and stuff. And so yeah, it was the hood. The roof was probably the worst part because you're just leaning over the truck all day or whatever, But other than that, it was pretty smooth. So.
Excellent. Yeah, I was trying to think of the word scaffolding. I'm always like, how do these guys do this? But, to your point, they're low trucks. And, a lot of people would probably see it and go, oh, yeah, they just laid the truck out and Daniel leaned over the bed. Well, the bed wouldn't have been that easy. Of course, the bed was removed, and, of course, you're able to kind of crawl up underneath it. And one of those photos, you kind of, behind the scenes, get to see that you're inside there just airbrushing away.
Yeah, we started with the bed on there, obviously, to line up the cab and the bed. And then once I got to a point where it was cool to take it off, then we took it off, and I finished the lines, down the back of the cab and the back of the bed and, all the other spots that needed to be, and kind of tied the two together. So it was a little difficult, but not too bad.
We're talking with Daniel Smith. Follow him on Instagram, Smith, and then Works, WORKX, all together. You can check out some of what he's posted. We also did a collab reel. Was it a little bit stressful? I think the stressful word is the word, knowing the caliber of truck that it was. Obviously, you're a professional and you're really good, but I'd imagine there's a little bit of jitters, almost like, Shaun White, right, getting ready for the Olympic Games to drop in with the snowboard. There had to have been a little bit of butterflies in the stomach going, okay, man, we're about to embark on a pretty massive deal here.
Oh yeah, 100%. So like everybody knows, that truck is just beautiful already. But between what Jimmy did and Twin States did and all the other guys involved in that truck, the first time it came out, it was already such a nice truck. And then, neither me nor Mike wanted to be like, oh, they shouldn't have did that to the truck or whatever, So it was definitely I kind of had an idea what I wanted to do, and me and Mike were kind of on the same page. He had some renderings done that he liked, but they weren't quite what he was wanting. And so luckily, I sent him a sketch when I was out there. Well, I sent him a sketch before I went out there, and then one night we blew up on the iPad and put it on the hood, and it is kind of yeah, we should probably go with that. And I made a couple of tweaks here and there to it, but yeah, definitely it was one of those things where it's one, you don't want to damage the truck working on it because it's so nice. And then two, it's just, you don't want to go Mike or anybody to go back and be like, oh man, I probably shouldn't have did that. That wasn't a good decision. So I think it worked out pretty well though.
Oh yeah. You've been on this crazy run the past several years. When I think of Dave, Dave's truck, what you did with it, a couple Hammered Weekend Wear shirts, with, at the time, I think with Leo's Blazer, and he may still have it, Tahoe rather. Then, Mike Hill ends up winning Street Truck of the Year. Your graphics are on it as well. another Scraping the Coast, one of the biggest, baddest shows in the country, our title sponsor, having Billy's Dually on it. You obviously come back. That thing looks crazy. We'll talk about Finnegan's mini truck in a minute, and then Barcia, like the ice and the cake. Like, you've really been hustling, dude, and I can tell you that you just kind of have us all going, wow.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Like, I just, I don't know, man. I'm really anal about everything I try to do with these trucks. I might not pump the most out a year, but I just try to make them as clean and nice as I possibly can. And, they have flaws. There's flaws here and there, but just, I don't know. I've gotten lucky to be able to work on some of the ones like I would have never thought, 10 years ago or 20 years ago when I started that I would get to work on some of these trucks like Mike Hill's and the Bill's Dually or Mike's Dually or just a bunch of these trucks, man. It's awesome, man. And I've been doing something right, I guess, because all of them's been turning out pretty well. So I'm just going to stick to what I've been doing and hopefully it keeps working out.
Yeah, no doubt. And something that we haven't talked as much about on the podcast is, if you look at Fat Fabs, their Instagram, they basically said, boom, they have 10 trucks, 10 rides. There's a wagon, 10 vehicles at SEMA, right? So if you're a shop, like even our friend Jimmy's Rod and Customs, we know like Jimmy, he spends a lot of time. He's very OCD and things like that. Some people out there across the country might look and go, man, dude, like I can't, do 10 vehicles like that. Or, hey, I may not pump out the most amount of volume. It's just like us. Like, we don't have the most amount of followers, but we love what we do. And I think that's the key thing, that you can always find someone out there that might be able to do more or build more vehicles or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's the passion, I think, Daniel, that drives us. And, certainly in your work, dude, it speaks for itself, man. Hands down, you're one of the best out there.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I really do. It's, with me, man, it's going to, like, I'm just a normal dude, and I've been doing this for a long time, but I'm going to give you, you're going to get everything I could possibly give you, whether you're paying $5,000 or $50,000. It's like, I'm not going to let something go out. I mean, there is times where sometimes you have to just say, I can't work on it anymore, or I have to stop. But for the most part, like, I'm going to give you everything I possibly can, no matter, what the bill is or what it's on. I mean, it could be a truck or a bike or whatever. It's just, you're going to get all of me. So
yeah, I love it. I love it. And, here's the crazy thing, as we kind of wrap it up here, is with, like you said, a couple years back, you had this unique opportunity with the Mike Finnegan. So I did say Alexander because I was talking with him earlier today. But with Mike Finnegan's Toyota, you had that unique experience in the way the world, all the planets align, so to speak. And they're both at SEMA. So, again, that has to be just kind of a watershed moment to go, man, like, wow, like all the hard work that you've been putting in, it really is, it's been paying off for years now, but like this has got to kind of feel like a really good moment for you.
Yeah, it's definitely cool. I'm glad to see Finnegan's out there, and I wish I could have made out there this year, but we got a baby coming in about 2 weeks, so it was time to just stay home.
Yeah, and I hadn't got a chance to tell you that. I had heard, I think through Shannon, Mrs. Mayer maybe had told me, and I wanted to say congratulations. I was born in November, so if you're born in November, man, that's a good month.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be good. So.
Oh, yeah. Daniel Smith at Smith, WORKX on Instagram. Please follow him. Check out some of the videos. Amazing work. Get with Daniel. Send him a DM or give him a call if you want to schedule something for the future. As you can imagine, he's going to continue booking things out. Daniel, thanks for taking a little bit of time. We're going to continue our coverage of SEMA 2023. Stay on the rise, our friend.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you reaching out.
Yes, sir. Hey, Kyle Fannin. We linked up a little bit earlier in the week, and it's cool to sit down with you on Thursday. I can't believe it's been another couple days. Man, you've been trekking around there, racking up the miles. How much fun are you having this week?
Man, I'm having so much fun. Like, SEMA is definitely bucket list. And once you come, you'll never miss it. Like, I've been coming, I think it's my 4th or 5th year, 3rd year in a row, minus the COVID year in 2020 when it was all online. And I didn't even log on, I don't think. Did you log on and do anything online in 2020 when they did that?
No, because Mike was borrowing my VR. Dude, I had like the VR smut headset. He stole it from me, dude. Had like a 3D Willy.
Bandit.
The 3D Willy
Bandit.
headset. Yeah, man, I don't know what happened. But
yeah.
Well, here's something that I think keeps pounding in my head, right? And I think what that is this. The best way I can sum up SEMA is it is the, I hate to use the SB word, Super Bowl, because I don't know if we're allowed. That we may not be allowed to say that word, those words, but it's the Super Bowl of the automotive world. There's no doubt.
Absolutely, it is, and it's like I think we talked the other day, and the big manufacturers, the big three, if you will, that they're pulling out, and the SEMA show is almost exclusively 100% aftermarket customization for vehicles at this point. Minus Toyota and maybe a few other, but the big three's gone, and it is if you're looking for something to customize your car with, or anything else that you can think of for your shop or whatever else, it is there, and it is new, and it is hot.
Oh yeah, and I think it's really odd because I was going through in my mind earlier that, like, does a GM really get a good pop there, right? And the way I look at it is that it's built for the aftermarket, and I could see, like, if a big three, if they had, we know that they have these different divisions of, like, the performance side and things like that, and I could see if they had a smaller segment there. But to me, like, they're never going to have, like, a Fat Fabs dually in their booth, and it's like they're better off almost just going to, like, the new car shows if that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, I think you're right. And speaking of Fat Fabs, I think they had more dualies than I can count on one hand this year.
Dude, they have 10 vehicles there, featured vehicles, 10, and that's
unbelievable.
That's confirmed through someone commented and said, "Damn, how many do you have?" And Jake or one of his guys go, "We have 10 vehicles there." That's including, I don't know if you got a chance to see the Murder Nova guy. He has.
Yeah, I did see him.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw the green Impala, old school, like, 70s wagon he had there, late 60s, 70s.
If I saw it, I probably would remember it. I'd have to look up the picture and see, but I'm sure I walked past it. I've done 30 miles in 3 days so far, so
yeah,
there's been a lot of stuff running together.
Yeah, Sean had it's a 76 Impala wagon. It's crazy because the 70s are the big boats, and that thing it's a boat, but when you walk around, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and now we're kind of starting to roll into Friday, and they've got these new. The rollout's always been there, but they've got the SEMA Fest that we talked a little bit about, which is going to be this new thing. My mindset, the short time I was there, was that the automotive world is it's just popping off, dude. Because, I mean, dude, when I went to get lunch on Tuesday with Ruben and Chris, we couldn't even find a wall to put our ass against to slide down and eat our lunch. There were that many people there, dude. Like, it's, to me, going to SEMA reinforces, dude, the automotive industry is in a damn good place.
It is, but it's also kind of scary. I don't want to get into much politics here, but the regulations they're trying to put in place against modifying vehicles, and SEMA is doing everything they can to help keep that so that you can, modify your car how you want. Because let's face it, government is going to take that away if they can. They're trying to shove down the EV on us, and they don't even want you to change tires and wheels at this point, it seems like. So, supporting SEMA and, the lobbying they do to help, continue our passion is another big thing that this week is about.
Yeah, we don't talk about that enough, and that's a key thing. Like, even as much as we maybe laughed in the early 2000s with spinner wheels, they fought legislation in different states because they're like, hey, why, it's about choice, right? And to your point, I read an article not too long ago about potential regulation, in California, them asking, like, well, how many miles do you drive your car? And, they want to figure out, how much you're emitting in terms of, the emissions and all of that stuff. So it is getting kind of crazy. So you bring up a good point that they are there to fight for the aftermarket.
Absolutely. I hate to see what's going to happen in the next few years if the SEMA and the other people behind the scenes can't get this stopped, because, we won't be able to have air ride suspension, lowered suspension, lifted suspension, any of that stuff if the government has their way.
Yeah, they're like the government kind of said they hate mini truckers. I think and all, but
Yeah, Hank did some. Hank put a bad taste in the government's mouth with a few of his things he's done with mini trucks.
yeah, and he supposedly he's a lobbyist now. I think he's just in it for the money, though.
Yeah, he's definitely standing in a lobby somewhere. He's not lobbying.
Right, exactly. So I'm not as tied in on the C10 front as you are, but floating around these different halls, were there any maybe a C10 that you just had to see, or was there anything that stuck out to you from that front?
Yeah, so I think one of my favorite ones here is the Banks built Gale Banks Lockjaw C20, which this is its second appearance at SEMA, and it's a regular cab long bed with a Roadster Shop custom 3/4 ton chassis, a Duramax diesel, and it's I don't know if it's hand built, but it's designed by Gale himself. And as opposed to having a turbo, which every Duramax from the factory does, they put a Whipple supercharger on top of it for the boost. And that thing was rad. That was probably one of my favorite C10s out here. But I think there's 20 or more, and it's hard just to pick which one could be your favorite. But I think that one, watching that build for the last couple years, is definitely one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah, Banks Power on Instagram. You can take a look at that one. And I appreciate you bringing me over there and introducing me to the Truck Show podcast. They're good people. I've listened to their podcast. I do enjoy it. And they're very overarching. So that was cool that they were right there in the Banks booth.
Yeah, those guys are awesome. And they're also, behind the scenes helping people keep customization, moving forward.
Oh, yeah. Now, Trey Five, who we've had on before, he posted on Instagram and said, surprise, they let a patina truck inside Central Hall. And it was they were there under the Resto Mod Air umbrella. That truck looked crazy. I think it had the chassis. I don't think it was Roadster Shop. I think it was another one someone commented. I could be wrong.
Yeah, that's a Rev B.
Rev B.
Yep, Scott recently just started Rev B. Scott was with GSI for years and left them last year, and this is his own company. That's either chassis number 1 or chassis number 2 from Rev B, and Jeremy from Trey 5 has a bunch of those in line right now. So I think LST will see a few more Rev B chassis trucks there here in the next 7 months. I'm going to guess 112 days. Probably.
Yeah, I'm going to check it in just a second. Because I pretty much live on LoneStarThrowdown.com. You know what I mean? Because I'm always thinking about when that next event's coming, and it's 100. It's 112 days, 12 hours, and 22 minutes. We need to come back in 10 minutes.
I was on the money.
Yeah, because if we come back in 10 minutes, it'll be 112, 12, 12, and then we can hit it at the 12 seconds.
Well, I knew it was 128 the last time we recorded, so I just had a guess that it was going to be 112.
Are you sure you're not? You sure you're not Rain Man? You make it rain, don't you?
I've been accused of being called Rain Man once or twice before.
Right, you make it rain. Now,
yeah.
Check this out. If you've never met this guy, try to meet him tomorrow. Slammed 64s with an S, and there's an underscore between Slammed and 64. Tony. He has built and he's had a bunch of covers on C10 Builder's Guide and Street Trucks. He's in the Resto Mod Air with the Crew Cab International patina truck. And that was a cool truck that I like to see. I had slapped hands with Tony prior at Lone Star Throwdown and getting a chance to talk with him a couple minutes. He's built Lincolns. He's built, just tons and tons of stuff. And it was neat because I tell you what, the Resto Mod Air and some of these other booths, dude, they go above and beyond, and it almost looks like a damn storefront.
Yeah, that thing is awesome. And that crew cab truck, I checked that out yesterday. Yes, that thing is really sweet.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, isn't it? And, that's the crazy thing. You think about how much money some of these companies are spending on SEMA. I remember years ago as Coker Tire, their whole booth looked like an old gas station almost, right? I mean, a service station. And it's so neat to go around. What are some of the other things that stood out that at least were kind of fan favorites of yours, Kyle?
Man, Randy's truck and the kicker booth, that was awesome. That was really getting all the looks.
It was.
Eddie Sabico's Apache, Bernadette 59 at the Intellitronics booth in Central Hall there. That was one of my favorites on the new Detroit steel wheels that are coming out. I don't want to say too much about that. I don't know if they've announced it yet, but those things are pretty sick. There was a couple. I saw some other mini trucks too. There's some Colorados and Canyons, and there was a lot of cool stuff, man. And some of the Corvettes, the '60s Corvettes that are all resto mods with like supercharged LT motors. Those were absolutely unbelievable. But like I've told you in the past, I enjoy driving everything I've got, and I would venture to say 50% of the stuff you see at SEMA isn't getting driven on the road show to show.
Sure. Yeah, there's different segments of it, and I think Mike Alexander and I joked a little bit earlier this week as he said he kind of felt like more stuff, because SEMA builds will sometimes get, there's like pages dedicated to like, look, this isn't even hooked up and that, this and that.
Yep.
And we know how that goes, but to your point, when you think of the high level, a lot of it's not driven, but it amazes me though that like a Chip Foose, that stuff they build, they do build it to be driven, but at the same time, like you get to like these $250,000, $500,000 builds, and you just go, yeah. But I'm with you. The age that I'm at now, I just want to get in something and drive it.
Yeah, especially the Lincoln. Like that thing is really cool, and I enjoy seeing the pictures and videos you post of out cruising that thing.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It leaks, even though it's been rebuilt, but I kind of feel like if it's a Ford, or a Lincoln, it's a leaker.
Man, so last night, Emma from Detroit Steel Wheels, Mob Steel, she invited us out to a after party that was thrown by the Hemmings company at Sosa's Metalworks, and it's probably one of the coolest things I've ever been a part of. It was all 64 Impalas on juice, 59 Impalas on juice. It was unbelievable. I'm going to have to send you some pictures and videos. Yeah, and it was in the metal shop. They had closed the metal shop up for the evening and moved everything outside. They had bars in there. They were mixing drinks for people. They had beer, and it was packed. And it was just full of celebrities, and that was probably one of my highlights so far of SEMA 2023 was the Sosa's Metalworks after party.
Kick ass, dude. That is freaking fantastic. I want to say this for the record. My favorite thing outside of SEMA, other than hanging out with the homies at the house, we had an awesome Airbnb, was meeting Charles Armstrong. I talked to him many times on the phone. We kind of became friends, acquaintances, whatever you want to call it, but getting him to sign my banner. He wore the OLP shirt that we put out 20 years to the year that his truck debuted. Got to see him inducted into the Hall of Fame. My favorite SEMA moment is really going back to what you said earlier, Kyle, was seeing Randy's truck. Ironically enough, though, a stone's throw from Randy's truck, we're also going to have Mike Barcia we had him on this episode. You guys heard him earlier. Mike Barcia lives 20, 30 minutes from me. These guys are both in Negative Camber, Florida, and they both had trucks there, and literally you could probably throw a tennis ball and hit each other's truck. His OBS just over the top, man.
Yeah, that is awesome. And, just 2 weeks ago, we were all standing in the hills and hollers of Kentucky with Randy's truck, and now to see it on the main stage in SEMA just blows me away, and that I'm so happy for him to have his truck out there.
Oh, yeah. Before we wrap it up, I do want to let everybody know Southeast Mini Truckin' Nationals is coming up next April. I know many of you have submitted for your registration. What I would tell you is even if you don't get approved or if you did not submit a registration, please join us. You can find out more Mini Truckin' Nats on Instagram or Facebook. It's going to be the 30th annual, May 19th, 20th, and 21st of 2024. Come join us. Just buy an armband. You'll have fun. Look, as we wrap it up here, Kyle, I want to ask you this. We all, remember the early days when you were young and Santa was coming and you got excited, right? you leave SEMA and you're kind of on this like automotive enthusiast high, so to speak, right? Is the way I see it. What do you get excited about now? You want to go home. Obviously, you want to rest up. Hopefully, you're not going to get the SEMA sickness. But what are you most excited about in terms of turning some wrenches as you flow and kind of get sideways into 2024?
Man, you come out here and you see new products. That's one of the cool things. And I'm gonna have to go and wait and buy a few new products that Holly has coming out. And, Detroit Steel Wheel has some new wheels coming out. I'm sure going to have something on a new project with that. So I've got to go back. I'm going to make a trip down to Georgia next week to Autometal Direct, pick up some metal for my dad's 59 Apache. So it's still on the road. It never stops. Going to have the toothpicks in the eyes come next week.
Yeah, brother, man. I'm super excited that your dad's doing good, and I know you've got the automotive gasoline, if you will, flowing through your veins, so to speak, and I'm excited to see what you come up with. I'm glad you got to meet Brandon Burrell from Street Trucks. I would encourage people to go to streettrucksmag.com, renew your subscription. I think Brandon didn't mention this earlier, I don't know how, but Chris did tell me that they have a $2.99 promotion right now, I think. It's $2.99 for a whole year, so $2.99. I think you have to send in the card, so that's kind of cool. But Kyle, get some rest the next couple days. I know you'll be headed back to the East Coast. We wish you safe travels. Any last words? Maybe plug the C10 YouTube?
Yeah, check out the C10 Club Maryland. This week I was doing a lot of shorts with some of the C10s out here, so check that out. And then also check the Instagram, C10 Club Maryland. And, yeah, I was eating In-N-Out Burger last night at 11 o'clock West Coast time, which is, 2 a.m. East Coast time. Yep. So I definitely got to get back on my East Coast time. And we out here.
Yeah, and hey, the last thing is, I know you were trying to remix it because it was like 2 in the morning, got the fat burger, like Cube said. My boy K-Dogg just dropped a remix, 2 in the morning, East Coast time. I got the In-N-Out Burger. I love it, brother.
That's right, pumps on the ground.
My man, hey, let's keep in touch, dude. And Mike he's sweating bullets. You got the co-host coming, I think, brother. Take care, Kyle.
Yeah, all right. Thank you, Jason.
Yo, so I'm going to cover the normal, already in progress, if you will, updates for this episode. Now, I want to thank everybody that has taken the time to record some audio with us. You have to understand, doing on-site audio, even how we kick this episode off, is obviously there's challenges with that. Everybody kind of talks different volumes. I don't really have the board here, so to speak, to kind of boost things up real time. So definitely appreciate you guys sticking with us and understand that, hey, on-site, a little bit different. So that came with its own set of challenges. But again, when we kicked it off, I wanted to thank Hammered Weekend Wear, a great partner of ours, and I would encourage everyone, if you get a chance with the holidays coming, HAMMERD weekendwear.com, show them some love, and we appreciate you supporting the real deal, Holyfield, Hank Norris's favorite brand, Hammered Weekend Wear. Now, when we got going, we talked about the trivia. That was pretty cool to talk about Halloween, and I want to thank the Spark Show. They continue to partner with us, and we would encourage you, if you get a chance, next August, it's the sparksshow.com. You can find more information. Now, they're going to update it soon for 2024, but just know, Phil Fowler, he has seen the coverage online in the past, and he said, hey, I'm not going to miss this show. So it's one of the must-attend events, in our opinion. The Friday night or the pre-party stuff they're doing as well is really just the icing on the cake. So love to see what those guys are doing, so shout out to them. Now, ODB Live and Uncut, this week I want to just reinforce this. We're in the holiday season now, if you can kind of believe it. It's hard to fathom how fast time's going. I always talk about this, especially in my Street Trucks monthly column. And what I want to say is just take the time to enjoy some family time. And let's not forget, focus on health as well. You're going to hear a little bit more from some things I've got planned. I talked to somebody earlier today on this subject that I think will resonate hopefully with a lot of people. But, again, family first. I went out to Sema. I didn't really kind of share this yet, but basically I went out there for a few days. I really only had one day boots on the ground, which was technically Tuesday. So I went Saturday, flew out. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Mini Truck Hall of Fame. A little bit of outside, seeing. We were probably there maybe 30 minutes or an hour. And then Tuesday was thrash day for me. And technically SEMA is also Wednesday, Thursday, and then you've got the Friday stuff with SEMA Fest and the rollout and all that. But at the end of the day, it would have been cool to stay all week. But it's I got priorities. I got other things. And as much as I'm ingrained in this whole kind of custom car culture, it is what it is, So came back home on Wednesday, had a flight at 5 a.m., which would have been technically Pacific time. And that's an all-day travel. Basically get home around 2:30, 3 o'clock, walk in the door, sleep, get some rest, kind of catch up on all that, and then boom, Thursday is, family stuff. So, again, holidays are coming. Enjoy some time with the family over the next 8 weeks or so. And don't forget about health. Again, family is first, but without your health, you may not be able to be there with your family. So more coming on that in the future. ODB Live and Uncut brought to you by Joey Dilworth at Get Decked, GetDecked_VA on Instagram. Joey Dilworth is the guy that supplies the skate decks to our scene, whether it's Lone Star Throwdown, Scraping the Coast, OLP, you name it. Joey's taking care of these fine brands. If you want to just put a photo or your main squeezes vehicle on a skate deck, hit up Joey Dilworth. He can do it even with a picture. Joey Dilworth, he will take care of you. Let him know that OLP sent you, of course. Next, we got the scene updates. And this week, I want to focus kind of on SEMA. So I talked to a lot of people. I really didn't get a chance to share some of my views. Now, you could say, yo, ODB, you were there one day. Yes, I was. What was the vibe? And I will tell you this. You go to SEMA like I did on Tuesday, and you immediately say, hey, this scene is thriving. This entire industry is thriving. The amount of money, the amount of vendors, the amount of rides, the amount of people that are kind of walking through those doors, it was mind-blowing. Just trying to buy lunch and then find a wall to sit down against. People lined everywhere. I mean, it's for me, it's almost overwhelming to see that many people in one place at one time, but the outside has grown. The West Hall is all brand new, with that stuff the past few years. I mean, so much stuff outside. It really is the Super Bowl, if you will, of the automotive world. You're going to see people. I saw Danny Coker walking around there with some of his team, including Ryan and Ghetto Bob. And just so many different people. I got a chance to slap hands with Nick from Surface Art. He's always out there in the kind of the art gallery area. I got a chance to see Max as well. He was out there. Thanks to Kyle Fannin, he introduced me to Jay from the Truck Show podcast, which was super cool. Brandon Burrell, Georgia. And that was Max Grundy, by the way. I should have said that. But just so many people that I got to slap hands with and see. And for me, that's the fun part. I've been now, not a ton of times. I want to say I've been to SEMA, maybe this was the 5th or 6th time. I went in 2003, which was 20 years ago, and it's just mind-blowing. So, as I said, and I know Kyle Fannin had chimed in when he had guest co-host, and he said, hey, he had a little bit of a situation where he had to submit more credentials to be able to get in. People have asked me, you probably just need to kind of look into it, depending on your employer or what you do, if you do side work and you've got a business name and things like that. For the most part, if you've got something you can submit, you can kind of probably get in, but it really depends. If you're a nurse, and that's all you do, and you don't have a YouTube channel or social media avenue, then, okay, it's going to be a little bit tougher. But certainly there's ways to kind of get a pass and things like that, and I don't want to go down those bunny trails. But I will just tell you, my thought process this year was just one word: wow. I mean, it's just insane the amount of vehicles and people that are there. I'll have to say, I think the most mind-blowing thing for me from a truck scene perspective was Fat Tabs. Having 10 vehicles, and this is per Jake or whoever posted via their social media, someone had commented and said, man, how many vehicles do you have there? And they said, the big 10. They literally have 10. And that's mind-blowing to me because you know as a business or as a enthusiast how hard it is to get one there, let alone 10, and they're all chassis laid out, some with tons of body work, some brand new. The 2024 black dually that Jake and team had there, mind-blowing, dude. They said in via Instagram that they have 8 weeks into it. Like we're talking full chassis, flat on the ground, 30-inch wheels, full color change interior to red, like just mind-blowing, right? So that was super cool. Seeing Barcia's dually there, we talked to Daniel Smith earlier, and that was crazy because, again, a lot of us knew that, hey, something was in the works. People were looking at some of his photos. I would see comments like, well, where's your truck? So people kind of had this mindset of what was going to happen there, and then boom, he comes out with it. My favorite truck, I will say hands down, was seeing Randy's Ballistic, 2 Ballistic there. And although I wasn't able to stay the entire week, I know Pat Nickel, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday, the original of obviously 30 plus years ago, he built Ballistic. He's going to be able to be there and meet Randy and sign some things and whatnot. But there's more coming from 2 Ballistic. There's some print that's going to come out, some print media, so we're excited about that if you're in the know there. So more to come. But I will tell you this, my one day that I was there, Chuck Dog was there too, shout out to Chuck. It was enough for me. I mean, I could have literally spent the rest of the week there and killed myself walking around and doing the damn thing. But I had a good time, and my main thing for going out there was the Mini Truck Hall of Fame. I wanted to do that, and I knew that I was going to have that one day. Now, I could have stayed the whole week, but I want to tip my cap to Billy Bob, Chris Mull. He had asked, hey, I've got this Airbnb, and we've got enough beds for everyone. Would you want to come out? And I said, certainly. So that opportunity allowed for me to stay with them until basically early Wednesday. And if I wanted to stay longer, I could have. But, again, balancing the family stuff back home, that was important to me. So, but at the end of the day, like, just mind-blowing the amount of enthusiasts that are out there, right? And the people that are building these crazy vehicles, many that you're going to see in magazines or via YouTube or be talked about like in this type of platform here on various podcasts. So awesome stuff. There's probably a ton that I'm missing, in terms of my mindset. I was kind of like flicking through some of my photos here and seeing that stuff, kind of just seeing what was going down there. But those were some of the experiences. Maybe on the next episode, we'll talk a little bit more. Again, I met Ryan from Counts Customs, Ghetto Bob as well, and got the ride in back of a truck, a dually through downtown, the main strip of Las Vegas. That was cool. Got a chance to go to Fat Burger and even In-N-Out, which is my favorite. I have to say the Monday festivities was my favorite part of other than seeing Randy's 2 Ballistic at the show, because riding in Billy Bob's van, which is actually technically his wife's, Michelle's, riding in that to and from the event, hanging out, meeting so many great people, and seeing these folks get inducted in was just awesome. And I think Billy Bob, aka Chris Mull, he did a great job with his speech. Ron Perkins did a great job with the introduction there, and all of the other folks did as well. So to all of the inductees, that's awesome. Congrats. We'll talk more about it on an upcoming episode. Bob Hayes had done so much work. He basically got this whole thing off the ground. He announced that he's stepping down from the leader, if you will, of the Hall of Fame committee. He is going to stay on board. So a few other folks kind of followed. They kind of felt like it was their time to kind of move on. So hopefully, Radar will continue to direct the ship. And I told him, hey, I'm there for whatever is needed. So we'll kind of see how things flesh out there, but more to come. But I would just say SEMA, amazing. If you can go out at some point, even if you just go for the Hall of Fame, even if you just go to see some of the outside stuff, you can still make it happen. It's truly an amazing event. Really the Super Bowl, as I've said, of the automotive scene. The scene updates this week brought to you by our family at Garage Gear Clothing. Visit garagegearclothing.com. Order some merch, whether it's a mini truck, a full-size, a sport truck, a patina van, you name it. They have it on their merchandise, and they do have free shipping opportunity. I believe it's $100 or more. They will take care of you, garagegearclothing.com. So, again, just trying to wrap this episode up. We'll probably talk a little bit more about it. I'll collect some more of my thoughts. It's been a long week, and I'm pushing hard to get this episode out on time because we haven't missed one Friday in terms of bi-weekly episodes this year. So next, we got the industry news, and I would say this. The industry is popping off. And what I mean by that is, again, we've seen some big players. I think Kyle earlier said that Ford was back. Toyota had their old spot. So all I can say is hopefully we continue to see awesome rides come out of the industry. I was a hater, I guess you could say, on the newer dualies, the 2500s, the C3500s, if you will. But obviously, when you put them on the ground and they refine the front ends and things like that a couple years go by, seeing that 2024 from Fat Fabs makes me go, hey, I want a new truck. I ain't kind of spending that kind of money on it, though. So hopefully we'll see good things continuing from the industry. I know Chevy, they're making some things that we talked about, some weird decisions with taking away CarPlay and all of that kind of stuff, if you will. So we'll have to see how that impacts it. But I think at the end of the day, one good thing I thought about from an industry standpoint is if Chevrolet and other OEMs decide to do that, what that's going to leave is a potential for the aftermarket. And what I mean by that is, will we see more modules come out that allow for CarPlay to work wirelessly? We've seen some of that stuff to take a CarPlay vehicle, work wirelessly with wireless CarPlay, which is kind of on the newer iPhones. Will people go back to swapping out head units? I don't know. Will people just be satisfied with, hey, I've got Google Maps or I've got Bluetooth, excuse me, and I've got a cool infotainment system, and I'm fine with just the Bluetoothing my music, not plugged in and things like that. So we'll have to see how all that shakes out. But again, I think the industry in general is they're really hitting on all cylinders. I know some of the UAW, the United Auto Worker stuff is starting to get hashed out, putting some pressure on one of the other OEMs now that the one deal is signed. So we'll have to see where things lead into 2024. I just hope that cool vehicles are continuing to be built. Again, I wasn't a huge fan of some of the newer Silverados, but at the end of the day, they're still selling. People are buying them. People are building them. So we'll have to see what happens. Industry news this week is brought to you by Freakin' Weekend. One of our new partners. We're going to be out at Freakin' Weekend next year. And you're going, what's Freakin' Weekend? Well, it's a show that's freaking awesome. And it is every September. If you go to follow the Freakin', Freakin' Weekend show, the Freakin' Weekend show on Instagram, you're going to see that the Freakin' Weekend Car, Truck, and Bike show is September 20th through the 22nd in Harrah's Gulf Coast, Biloxi, Mississippi location, thefreakinweekend.com. You heard Mike talk about it. They had an amazing time this year at the event, and Mike said, let's partner up with them. Let's go out there. Let's have some fun. So we're going to do that. The Freakin' Weekend, one of the biggest and baddest up-and-coming events, and it's not just a car show. It's like a whole experience. So I would say maybe get your 80s attire ready. We've got some ideas for next year. The Freakin' Weekend. We can't wait. All right, the show updates. This episode kind of is a hodgepodge. I wasn't sure how much stuff I was going to go over, but I will cover a few of the shows that are left for this year. Now, something that I think is crazy is when I thought about this year, how many events I had went to. I've been to, once the year ends, I would have attended over 30 events, and that's, accounting some local stuff, with Angie Ellis doing the Portillo's mini truck cruising and some of the local rides by the river, which are kind of like coffee, card and coffee type events, right, that are open to kind of everything. So what I would say is, like, I've had a blast going to all these different events, but I know that I can't keep this pace up. I'm trying to grow the podcast. We've got more things coming in 2024 from OLP that I think you guys will appreciate. And, I think in 2024, I'm going to focus on a few of the bigger events that we're always locked into going. Eastbound Get Down is one of those, Lone Star Throwdown, Mini Nats, and then Scraping the Coast. But you may see me pull back a lot on going to out-of-state stuff just because, my son's 18. I've got other priorities, and I'm trying to balance all of that. But a couple things I'll say is, number one, Rides by the River, if you're local in the Tampa Bay area, that's the third Saturday every month. Of course, as I get older, I'm getting up early, so I've enjoyed going to those. Now, again, they're only a few hours. We're talking, I think, technically 8 to 11 a.m., but those are fun, and I've been going to those, so I have those added to the OLP calendar. The Daytona Turkey Run, which we all call the Turkey Rod Run, is Thanksgiving, so 11/23 on my born day through that Sunday, the 26th. Of course, that Saturday night, the 25th, is the Trucks and Cheeseburgers Jimmy's Rod and Customs open house. So if you're in the area or you come to Florida for the Daytona Turkey Run, certainly consider going out to the Jimmy's Rod and Customs open house. I think you guys will have a lot of fun. Now, the second weekend in December, you have the grand finale. So, of course, that is going to be in Houma, Louisiana, and Craig Rowley and team are putting that one on. You can find more information on Facebook or their website. But that's kind of obviously the grand finale. You think the end of the year kind of wrapping up. Heard it's a very high-end, awesome, fun time, high-end show, but good times. Now, the 9th of December is the Toy Drop Auto Show. That's at Lake Square Mall, kind of in the greater Orlando area. They did an event 2 years ago. I think they skipped last year, but this is the team behind Made of Steel, so hopefully you guys can come out. Toy Drop Auto Show has more information on Facebook on bringing a gift or registering. This is kind of a charity type event. That's it for the rest of the year in terms of on our radar. The only other show that I'll mention again is Eastbound Get Down, EBGD for short. That is the 12th, the 13th, and the 14th of January. Of course, smack down in the middle of the month. That is at Destination Daytona in Mike and John Lopez. So Mike Murray, John Lopez, that's their event. Contrary to what you may think, I am not involved in that event in any way. I just love all of the questions that come into the email box. That's why I like asking Mike about the FAQs. So we'll see if we have any new ones here in just a moment. The show updates is brought to you by our family. Another new partner, if you will, at Local Rides Mag. Local Rides with the Z magazine.com. Hit them up. They have a new issue that is now shipping. They do have some of the older issues on sale. And I have taken a look at some of these, and man, I'll tell you what, they have an awesome publication. So do me a favor. They have issues as low as $8.99. They also offer a 1-year subscription. It's Local Rides with a Z, RIDEZ, magazine.com. They're also on Instagram. Show them some love. If you want another magazine to add to the collection, check them out. Anchors Away, as an example, which was at the Mini Truck Hall of Fame induction ceremony, that was on a recent cover, as are some other awesome trucks. Local Rides magazine.com. The podcast updates. This is the only one for anybody that took part in our recent Mazda topless pre-sale. Please know that those orders are going to ship early next week. We got the confirmation that they're on our way to Miggity Mike the Mayor and Mrs. Mayor. Now, they're going to be away this weekend gallivanting. I think it's their wedding anniversary weekend. So they're going to be away. when they get back, they said that they're going to have everything shipped out Monday, Tuesday. So keep in mind that those orders will be shipping out, and you want to be on the lookout for those email confirmations. So thanks if you participated. Any of the remaining stock that we're going to have has been added to our lifestylepodcast.com. You can go purchase it now. It's kind of a sweet spot of a time to purchase because basically you won't wait long and those will ship out. Banners, stickers, and shirts are available past the pre-sale. A couple pinks, but mostly black will be stocked. And check it out, rourlifestylepodcast.com. The podcast update is brought to you by our family at Graphics Mafia. Graphics Mafia, they handle all of our die cut decals, I think is the way we say it. So any of the ones that say OLP that they have to weed, I think is what they call. You got to take that little thing and print them and weed them out. But Graphics Mafia, they can handle stickers for you, reprints if you need anything. It's GRAPHIX Mafia.com. Last but not least, we got the Eastbound Get Down FAQ. And we did have a few weird questions kind of come in. I don't know why they're always coming in, but sometimes they do. This person was asking if they were to get there on Sunday, could they still be judged? And I kind of thought to myself, well, why would you come to the show if you couldn't get there like Friday or Saturday? So Miggity Mike the Mayor is out gallivanting, so I'm not able to ask him. So we're going to have to get clarification on that. You know, let's say you stroll into town on Sunday. Can you still get judged? Okay. Now, I have been asking Mike and team to post the FAQ that I created on eastboundgetdownshow.com where we talk about, you know, can you fly drones? Can you bring animals? You know, all of that fun stuff. They haven't done it. I don't know why. So if you see Mike, say, yo, ODB's FAQ needs to be posted on eastboundgetdownshow.com. So we'll have to check next episode with Miggity Mike the Mayor to see what he says. Eastbound Get Down FAQ brought to you by CNS SmithWorkx. I got a chance to hang out with Chris and Riggedy Rubin from CNS SmithWorkx, and I want to say thanks for just hanging out. We had a great time. If you need parts, it's cs-metalworks.com or CNS SmithWorkx on Instagram. Universal Air, AccuAir, airbags, you name it. Hit up Chris Burns and let him know that OLP sent you. With that being said, I'm sure that we forgot some stuff, but anybody that rocked with us to the end, we can't thank you enough. We know Veterans Day is coming up, so for those that have been in the service, thank you for your service. That is technically on, I think it's the 10th, I think it's on the 11th. It's 11/11, but it's observed the day before, so I think I'm going to be off on that 10th. I want to go pay my respects. And I know Veterans Day is a little bit different than Memorial Day, but salute to all the veterans out there, and we appreciate all the support. I do have a couple big episodes coming up I think you guys are going to love. Those are already recorded, but we wanted to get this SEMA episode out now. Stay on the rise, my friends. Peace.